Thursday night. The news is hot. Guys, we got a great show for everybody tonight. I see everybody kind of shuffling in here Thursday night. Very excited to have CrossFire going, especially a week like, we're ramping up. I've been saying this. We left the holiday. Here we are. We're going into February right now. The games are coming out. We said 26 is going to be hot. We're starting to see things come to fruition as we stand here, as we start gaming. We're going to talk a little bit about Nioh 3. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Nintendo's Partners Direct. Usually Nintendo conversation doesn't do a lot on this channel, but this is a lot of third-party games that we saw, and these are games that typically don't come to the Switch, and now they're going to be there, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then there's a little controversy in the PlayStation community about some of the games that that was announced today, and we'll see what everybody's thinking on the panel. Speaking of that great panel, I got an outstanding group of guys here with us tonight. Before I get to those introductions, guys, please take a second, hit that like button if you don't mind. All right, share it out. Let everybody know that we're live here in New York. We're doing it for you guys live here on Thursday night. And if you don't mind, right above that outstanding description is the join button. And if you guys join that join button, you'll become part of the Mooch Maniac family members. And I truly appreciate that, guys. It really does help the channel. It helps everything that YouTube says we need to do. Shout out to Ocelot. He says, what's up, Mooch panel? PlayStation, Nintendo, whooping ass. Well, we're going to talk about that, because I think a lot of that is true. And then we got a lot of things to discuss on whether or not some of the decisions that may be coming forth, if we agree with those things or not. But without further ado, you guys know him as the great J-Dub City. Jay, if you're not following Jay on X, I don't really know why you have the app at all. I'm not really sure, especially in the gaming community. The man provides entertainment, knowledge, and everything else all in one. Jay, welcome to the show, buddy. Always great to have you on CrossFire, man. How you doing this evening?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's always good to be here. Chop it up with the whole crew, the usuals, and then, everybody else that come on. And today's going to be a good show. Y'all know what time it is, man. We got some PlayStation financials to talk about.
Yes, sir.
We got new IP. We got Nintendo's their direct that happened.
Yes, sir.
And nothing from Xbox, but other than that, we can still keep moving.
We lost a third of the news. You ain't lying. All right. So listen, I will say, that's all right. The show must go on. Jay, great to have you here.
Yep.
All the way over from England. He's here. We're not sure. He may be with family. He may be at home. But the one thing that we know is Nib is here with us. Nib, I don't know how the hell you're able to make it, buddy, especially unless you broke the sound barrier to get home. How you doing tonight, buddy? Are you home or are you with family? What's happening?
No, I'm at home. I'm on the ship right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all. Listen, it doesn't matter where you're calling from. That's fine. You can be on top of a mountain.
I rushed home. You're right. And that's usually how I drive generally, to be honest. So I sped it here, and now I'm back in time.
Well, good to have you, Nib. I appreciate you being a part of the show. And like I say, Death Singer's going to be joining us shortly. You guys know my birthday, brother. We are always very loud about this because 9/27 is a date that you all need to know. Send the gifts, send the love. The great King Thrash is with us. And Thrash, let me say, great to have you with us tonight. We need more roundtable podcasts. That's all I'm going to say. And I know your fans are already bothering you about this, so we're not going to bother you on the show. But welcome to CrossFire, man. It's been too long. I saw you in the chat last week, and I said, I got to get him. He's here. I got to get him on the show. So Thrash, welcome back, man. How you doing tonight?
Always a pleasure to come and grace the greatness of the CrossFire
That's
podcast.
right.
And whoever you bring, it's always entertaining. So especially Nib, he's going to give us a typewriters full of information. J-Dub, I wake up every morning watching him create trouble. I just love to sit back, and then coming to hear you.
Star Wars role of writing.
That's my go-to start in the morning is J-Dub's X, man. So listen, I'll tell you right now. Here we go. And King, I like to put the guest on the hot seat real quick here. And the reason I go to you is there is a little bit of conversation about this whole thing with PlayStation announced that Horizon Hunters Gathering, right? And listen, you've seen what people have been saying in the community. This game, there's a couple ways to attack it. First of all, we can easily say, King, is this your kind of game? Is this a game you're going to put hundreds of hours into? I think I know your answer already, but realistically, when you look at it, the game it doesn't look bad. When we're talking about a lot of these games, they come out, they're polished, they work. Now, people criticize PlayStation for the games as a service and putting these multiplayer games out. But these were things that were announced years ago. We know they can't, right? They had 12 of them. They brought it to 6. Now they're down to probably 4. This is one of those ones they've been working on. What is your feelings when you see PlayStation announcing a game like Horizon Hunters, and you have the backing of Guerrilla with this? You know that it's gonna be quality as far as the mechanics. Now, the game modes, if you like the way that they have the characters, where you don't have the character development, you can't make your own character. You have to use it. It's a hero type of shooter. These are things that a lot of people are criticizing. But overall, what are your thoughts on this particular game and the direction of the games as a service that Sony continues to do?
I think they're doing it because they have to do it. I think a lot of it has to be done with, especially if they want to attack China the way they are.
Yep.
And out there in China, they love their service games.
Yes, they do.
So I think they just want to really push Horizon. I remember we saw a trailer for, I don't know, I think it was a Horizon game 2 or something, but it didn't have PlayStation 5. People were complaining. It was like for PC and for cell phones, mainly cell phones that could be emulated on PC or something like that. And people were complaining. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. I mean, I feel Sony, if they're going to make cell phone games, then they should make cell phone games, not PlayStation and cell phones. Don't bother with PlayStation, because cell phone games have a different crowd of people, and you sell differently to cell phone players than you do console players. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think they should focus exactly like that. But then now we see this, and I don't know if this is the same game or not, to be honest. I haven't went and checked, but I saw so many people complaining that the PS5 didn't have a version. Now I'm seeing people complaining about this because it's a downgraded or it's not using the Decima engine.
Yep.
And I said the same exact thing about that cell phone game. I said, if this cell phone game was on PlayStation, you guys would be complaining because it doesn't look like a PlayStation game.
That's right.
That's right. And as far as the services go, I don't like services at all. I don't like anybody's approach to any service at all. And but I know that's just me. I think they should go after their money. I think that we need them to go after their money to maintain the games that we do like.
That's right.
So if there's money out there, go get it. I'm not mad at them. If I don't want it, I just won't buy it. I'm not going to cry and complain about something that I don't want if I don't have to buy it. You know what I mean?
You make a great point, though, Ken, because that was one of the things that was a huge thing when we saw that mobile game come out. I saw a lot of people in the community say they didn't care. They were like, well, wait a minute. Sony makes the game, and I have the console that they make, and I don't get to play it. Now they have the game that's on there, and it's complaining. Right, again. And it's like, well, which is it? To me personally, this is not a game I don't think that I would play, but at the same time, again, I have to agree with you. If you don't want it, don't play it. It's simple. It's not that difficult.
Some stuff, listen, let's face it, we're all selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are selfish, especially as gamers.
Oh, we should be.
It is a selfish hobby.
Absolutely.
But you got to understand, PlayStation its fan base is unlike no other fan base. Very outspoken, it's what I want versus what the collective want or what someone else wants. And so that's why you're getting these varying opinions. Granted, a lot of people probably play this game, but this game, like you said earlier, Trash, this game is probably not targeted towards you. It's, we like the traditional Horizon games. They're working on Horizon 3 now. That's probably going to be a launch game for the PS6. So, if you're going to want that, you're going to have to wait for that. But in the meantime, they've made another IP using, well, not even an IP, just another game using the Horizon IP. And they're going to try to capture, it's a live service game. And so, it may not do what you think it's going to do here in the States. It may be golden over in Korea and China and in various other places, it's again, I see that a lot. I see these companies target games for a certain demographics and crowd, but you have the other crowd that sits and they cry and whine over it. It's like, dude, if it's a cell phone game, it's not for you. Why are you whining and crying? And I've seen people, well, they're using resources that they could be using to make my game, and they're giving them to someone else. And it's like, dude, you must not understand how business works. These companies have been doing this since the beginning of their existence. That's what they do. Their job is to make money, and their job is to make games. Now, whether you like the game or not is totally different. And I understand not every game that PlayStation or Microsoft or Ubisoft or EA, whoever makes, I'm gonna like. But I'm not just gonna say, hey, they shouldn't be making that game because it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean,
You see what I'm saying?
no, I do agree with what you're saying. There's also a lot of games that come out on PlayStation that people just pass up or don't even know come out on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
Right? So I get the resources, but when you stop and think about it, I don't know. I mean, they have to. It's a business first, and they did put their foot forward. If you think about it, with all these games as a service, and now they canceled a lot of them. This is one that, again, I'll agree with both sides here. We could easily have somebody on the show right now, or somebody in the audience that says, this game sucks. I don't like it. This isn't what I wanted to see. This is a waste. That's fine, but there's a whole nother audience that I was actually shocked, and I'm not going to name names. There's a lot of people in the PlayStation community saying, I'm going to give this a shot. I just signed up for the beta. I'm going to, I was like, all right, I think that there's room for everything here. There really is. Whether or not it took resources away, when you see what happened with games that were canceled, and we saw Blue Point was working on some of them, right? Mm-hmm. We saw, Sony Santa Monica might have been working on a little something, and those things got canceled. That's the stuff that's a little bit more, gut-wrenching, right? But when I see this and this comes out, I'm like, okay, this is business as usual, and they're going to have a team dedicated to make sure that this thing is a live service game that continues to work like that. So I don't think that one necessarily always will falter the other. You're not losing that studio in its entirety. And so I kind of agree, but I understand the other side of it too. Nib, what is your take on this? You saw a lot of back and forth, and Nib, to be honest with you, I know me and you were playing a little bit of that High Garden, trying it out, having some fun with it. A lot of people are bashing us for even trying that game. So this is going to be a similar situation within the community where people are going to say, why are you guys playing this nonsense? You know what I'm saying? I mean, but at the same time, I think it's going to make Sony some money. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
The thing is, right, don't be one of those sheep who just automatically writes things off because the mob does. Right? Like, who cares what the mob thinks? And it's weird because I always hear people say, who cares about what journalists think? Who cares? But then are you just substituting journalists for like grifters online? Is that really the way forward? Like, the whole point should be, irrespective of what a journalist says, what a user says, what a grifter says, whatever I say, whatever J-Dub says, try it for yourself and see if you like it, I am personally disappointed in the style and art direction of the game, just because, and I get it, like, obviously doing a Horizon multiplayer game is probably not feasible because it's high production, high detail, high poly count, shaders, textures. It probably, you probably couldn't support a game like that long term with that degree of fidelity. It's making a skin for cartoon style skin, and there's making an Aloy high, with thousands of polygons and all the little bits and bobs. So I get that, but for me, like, I've always wanted a Horizon co-op multiplayer, but in that world with that fidelity, with that like AAA production vibe, and I'm just not really getting that for this. So, at the end of the day, I don't judge a game just on its graphics. It could play really well. It could be really fun. So I'll still definitely give it a go. But to me, it is a bit of a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, shout out to Bespoke. I appreciate the super chat, by the way. That is very gracious of you, buddy. I truly appreciate it. And your Mooch Maniac family member. I really appreciate it, Bespoke. He says, did people miss when Gorilla said it can be played solo or co-op with up to 3 people? I've also never heard anyone complain about Nintendo and Xbox both having numerous cell phone games. Hit that like button, nerds. Yo, shout out to Bespoke. I appreciate that. I mean, this is a game I think that does hit. It hits solo. You want to play solo, play solo. You want to play co-op. And everybody's got to kind of get into this world right now. And King, you said it, so I guess I'll reiterate it. Like you said, they're trying to reach a new market. You said this online. You said it out loud a million times. They're trying to hit the market in China. They're trying to hit different avenues of making money. I think PlayStation's efforts in China have been quite successful thus far. I think they're selling consoles over there. I think they're trying to get people to kind of latch onto these types of games. They're not necessarily always playing games like God of War. That's not what they're doing over there. They're playing these types of games. And these are games that, like, nonstop. Like, shout out to Nib again. Nib, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but, like, I do the same thing. I did the same thing in Arc Raiders, so I'm not putting Nib on the spot. I did it with Arc Raiders. You guys know I've done it with Warzone, right? I like to chime in on those kinds of multiplayer games. People that find a game that they like, they will then put more money into it. Me and Nib were playing High Card. Nib goes, hold on a second. I got to grab this new bundle that just came out. And listen, he goes, it's a free game. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. He's like, I'm putting time into it. I don't mind putting 10 or $20 into it. I don't. And that's the thing, that reoccurring. And I do the same thing. Arc Raiders? I can't tell you. I've bought like 3 or 4 skins already in there, right? But I've got like 150 hours, 160 hours in that game. I don't mind to put that into it because I know this is a game I'm going to keep coming back to. So, Nib, this is a different model. This is also the type of model they need to keep these businesses up and running. I don't think it's going to be just the $70 game that's going to keep them afloat.
The only thing is, I would agree to that, but only if you have a successful game. But live service games actually much more commonly fail than they do succeed. I remember I made a tweet once. I think there's like 32 live service games in the last decade that have failed, and some of them have been really expensive. So yes, they can be really successful and they can earn you your bread and butter, but they could also be catastrophic, money sinks. So it really depends on whether they find their footing, the way like Helldivers 2 did or GT7 or whatever. But it could also go the way of the dodo. So that obviously is dependent on the quality of the product, whether people enjoy it, how much content and support there is, and just whether they get the marketing right. Because even something as simple as having a live service game be the last thing you show at the Game Awards can have a negative, have a negative impact on the.
It can. Anything that Keeley kind of promotes already has that stigma, right? So the game was already fighting an uphill battle the minute that show was over.
But I will say I've had a few people who were tweeting to me saying, "Oh, you don't mind Ken being like a cartoony style, or you love Breath of the Wild, or whatever." The thing is, that's a false equivalence because Horizon is already part of a AAA franchise and universe. So a game that has a certain look and feel and production value suddenly spinning off to this style of game is quite different from like an indie game or something that's already in that style, continuing to follow that style.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't mean that the game, you can't judge a gameplay from graphics. But yeah, but it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, they're still doing this live service push, but we do know from the leaks that even though multiple live service games were cancelled, we already actually knew beforehand that this was one of the ones that wasn't cancelled. We just weren't expecting it to be what it is.
Okay, so then let me just go ahead and piggyback the OA. And I see you, Babor. Babor, I'm going to get to that super chat in a second. The OA just kind of piggybacks on what Nib said. He said, some people act entitled and demand every game be for them. This doesn't seem like a major project from Guerrilla, more like a side hustle. If it was the case, it wouldn't be announced. This is a great point. He goes, if it was the case where Guerrilla put all of their effort, all this money, right, guys? He said, if that was the case, it wouldn't be announced on a random Thursday with a YouTube trailer. That actually makes sense. If this was something, and I saw some people that have some, when I say major influence, I'm talking about 300,000-400,000 people following them on X that are in the gaming community, and they're like hundreds of millions of dollars went into this. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, so wait a minute, Spider-Man was like 300 million, right? Or a little over. You're saying that you think from what you saw today on that trailer, that 300 million went into this? That's what they said on their tweet. And I'm like, I don't believe that it would have cost that. So I completely agree with the OA on that. And Babor says the buying crowd hates, gas, these games as a service. PlayStation devs know. I think he means knows that. I mean, and that's fine. That's fine, but they also know it makes money. You know what I mean, Babor?
Yeah, that's true. And then here's the thing. This is Mooch. You and I talked about this before with a unmentionable game. But, people say, who's asking for this? And I don't want that. And who's asking for this? And I don't like this and I don't like that. And there's too many of this or there's too many of that. And then when Marvel Rivals dropped, everybody just forgot everything they said.
That's right.
Weeks prior, and everybody was on it, and everybody was loving it, and they're still playing it to this day, and they love that art style and that art direction, and it's like that's why I just don't listen to just me, just personally. I don't listen to gamers what they say. I listen to where they spend their money, where their dollars are. Because they'll tell you, I don't like this or I don't like that, and something drops and they're there day one. They're just all over. And it's like, wait, I thought you said you didn't like this art style. I thought you said you didn't like this type of game. I thought you said X, Y, and Z. And FOMO is a big thing. So, some people's like, well, yeah, I didn't like this, but I see all these other people playing it. I'm gonna try it out. And then they try it before you know it. Oh, this is the best thing ever.
Well, all hail me. He says, I'm confused how the mobile game has better graphics while also being an open world MMO. The only thing I got to say to that, all hail, is that I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I really, the arts, again, so. I'm not sitting here, I'm not defending, it's really not a game that I'm going to jump into like and play a lot of at all. But at the same time, when you want to be critical of a game, if you're going to say it takes all of Guerrilla's resources, which I don't believe it did, and then you tell me the game doesn't function, right? A game comes out broken or it's literally trash, it doesn't work. And we've seen that with other titles that have come out. That's a problem. This game looks like it's going to be very, very attractive to certain gamers and certain gamers that don't mind to continue to put money in. Now, let me ask you guys this. The one thing I didn't see, did they mention if this was a free-to-play or if this was going to be a $40 game?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
They didn't say.
They didn't say. That's interesting, though, right?
Which usually means it's going to cost.
It's going to cost, right? Yeah. Because when it's free, they throw that out there loud and clear.
Yeah.
You know?
And as far as the comment about like why one looks better than the other, it's like, bro, first off, they're not competing with each other. And then on top of that, it's like you got one vision versus the next vision. Like not every artist have the same vision. You know what I mean? And these artists should be able to create the game they want to create, you know what I mean? And not copy off of somebody else's work. That's how Microsoft and Xbox turned out the way it is. They keep copying off of other people or buying other people's work, I should say. You want that.
That's a great point.
We have a Lego version. We have a full-on AAA version. We have a VR version. Like, let these developers develop, like if don't compare the two, they're not even in competition with each other. If the cell phone version looked better, that's because cell phones are powerful as hell now. You know what I'm saying? Yep. I mean, and then on top of that, that team probably has more time to do more graphics and MMO shit. They're not also making Horizon 3. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That is a different outside developer to where this developer isn't, So it's like a lot of different reasons, but still, let the visions be the visions. Enjoy the visions, bro.
Well, I find it funny. I find it funny, and I get it. We're all guilty of it, but I find it funny how gamers, a lot of gamers that have no idea what it takes to develop a game or whatever vision that a developer have, how they can just say, "No, I want you to make this game with this graphics and that graphic." It's like you don't know. The game isn't out. We haven't played the game or anything. They just literally showed you. A vertical slice of it and talked about it. Wait till you get it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do that.
I wouldn't.
I think a lot of people do that even with, and shout out to a lot of people that I've been gaming with over the past couple of weeks. They didn't even want to give like Highguard. Now, Highguard, listen, the numbers dropped. I think the highest it reached was, and Nib, correct me if I'm wrong, Nib, it was like 70,000 concurrent at one time. Maybe they reached 100. I don't know if they even reached
97.
97. So it was close to 100. And then at that point, now it's dropped into, I don't know, Nib, usually you check this out for me whenever we're having this discussion.
It's like on the weekdays, it's like sub 10K, it's like 6-7K.
6-7K,
yeah. Weekends, it climbs up to like over 10.
Yeah, I was going to say between 10 and 15.
But they've just announced like a whole new content coming out. Some of the stuff sounds awesome, like really cool. This like wolf character and all this other stuff. But I was going to say, like, to the point that you guys were making, sometimes it's actually not about originality, it's about execution. Because if you look at like Arc Raiders, right? Arc Raiders is kind of like an amalgamation of, say, Tarkov and other things, like casualized. And whether it's Apex Legends or Marvel's Rivals or whatever, these games aren't completely unique. They are like versions of things we've seen before stitched together. But it's because they play well and they have a great progression and reward system. People enjoy the flow of the game, and that's why they can be really successful, even if they're not dramatically innovative. So even with like I said, I thought what's it called? Concord was going to be dead on arrival. I actually don't know with this game or with Marathon. I wouldn't necessarily be so confident in saying they're going to be straight dead on arrival. I don't know. I don't think Marathon's going to do that great, but it might still find a core audience, which could sustain it. And maybe that's the same for this one. Because again, Horizon, like, you may not like Aloy as a character, you may not like the story or whatever, but the thing with Horizon that really, really is solid is the gameplay mechanics.
That's right.
The sort of the destruction physics and using like dinosaur parts against them, and hitting weak spots and all of that, having trip cast and traps and all the different, imagine the whole arsenal of weapon. One person's firing frost weapons to freeze it, another person's lobbing like thing shots with poison grenades, and there's a lot of like kind of drama that could be involved in the engagements, and you never know, that could actually carry a lot of weight with a lot of gamers. It's one of those things we really have to get our hands on. So even though I did say I was disappointed with the visuals, it doesn't mean that I might not love the game.
Yeah, and I honestly, it's funny because again, I'm saying this from what do you say, YouTube armchair, right? I didn't think the visuals were that bad. If this is the type of gameplay that you enjoy, if you're comparing it to Horizon, the Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West, that fine,
yeah,
okay, that's fine, but this is definitely not in line with that. That's not what they were going for at all. And you made a good, you kind of segued, Nib. I had this as another topic. We'll kind of mash the two together. I'm interested to hear King Thrash. Thrash, what was it you think when you hear I'll be honest with you. I think Marathon, I'm kind of on the other side of the coin than Nib. I think Marathon's got a shot. And the reason I say that is it is a different world going from third person to first person. I don't need to tell anybody who knows that, right? I personally like first person a little more. I know a lot of people that like third person a lot better. But the genre, the extraction shooter, okay, and it's not just Helldivers 2 that did it, with PvE and friendly fire and all of that, but then you also had Escape from Tarkov, right, which is either on console or coming to console soon.
Yeah,
that game had that extraction sense. Now you have Marathon coming out. Now you have the sci-fi lore of what Bungie can do with the way that they have one of, if not the best gun mechanics in gaming. I think a lot of people will tell you that, And people look at the nonsense that went on, and I'm not defending it. The theft of the artwork, that's bullshit, right? The other shit that they had going on internally, all not great at all. Really bad, really kind of a blemish on Bungie. But if you look at the games they've put out, they went from Halo to Destiny, and people say, well, Destiny had a couple of bad expansions. If you're going to go 10 years, you're probably going to have a couple of bad, right? A couple of bad chapters, right? Okay, because even your favorite show that has 10 seasons, you're like, well, skip season 4 and skip season 7, right? That wasn't so. So my point is, but the point of the matter is the game was still polished, worked, was phenomenal. Now they're coming out with this. When the extraction shooter genre is probably at its peak, now's the time to launch. King, do you think, in your heart of hearts, that Marathon is dead on arrival? Do you think it's got a shot, or do you think it actually has a shot to propel up there near the Arc Raiders level?
Well, again, service games are trash from jump for me. But knowing the pedigree that Bungie, has brought us, and knowing that people are not realizing that Marathon is already going to have a head start because Destiny fans are Bungie fans. There's a lot of Bungie fans out there that love Destiny and would trust Bungie in this new project, and that want something new. They've been playing Destiny for 10 years. So I think that it already has a low-key leg up, but as far as how long it'll last, I mean, you're going to see Steam numbers. I don't know how high or low that's going to go, but every game goes lower the longer it's been on there. So you're going to have people talk about it like they're talking about that one extraction, that one shooter was just talking about. I think it should do good. Looking at it and looking at what they're doing, I believe it'll do good. But it all depends on how well they implement the service side of it. I think that's how Helldivers survived. Helldivers survived because their service side of it wasn't as abrasive as other games. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean,
King, you already
since Concord, my bad, go ahead.
No, King, I wanted to say though, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the point of the matter is just to piggyback on what you're saying. But Bungie's already listening. The game isn't even out. They went back, and you could correct me and say, no, Mooch, it wasn't Bungie, it was Sony, and that's fine. I'll take that as an answer. But they went back after that initial alpha went out, and shout out to like Persona and a bunch of people I know that played that alpha. They said, this ain't it. This is not it. They went back. They fixed the way the game looks. They added things that the community was asking for. The game's not even out. So, King, when you say the Helldivers devs did it right, what I'm saying to you is, I think their ears are wide open, and I think that for the first time, they're in trouble. They're in trouble in the sense that they will not have that carte blanche, right, to do whatever they want if this does not. Right. I'm not saying triumph, but if it doesn't hold its own, right? If it doesn't make that money back and then some, they're not going to have that free will to do whatever they want the next time, like they've been doing. So I just myself, especially under Sony's thumb. So I think that's the thing. I think that you have a situation right now where they are listening to the community already. I mean, that's and they're hitting this. And I know. And listen, King, I know you're really even trying your best because I know these are not your types of games. So I'm asking you to kind of speak on that, right? But what we're really talking about now is not just preference of, like I said, that Horizon game. That's not really something I could see myself putting a ton of hours into. But I'll be honest with you, like the game itself right now, I don't necessarily know. Like when I saw Foam Stars, I was like, I don't know about this. I really don't think so. You know what I mean? But I see this game and the Horizon world. And also, I saw this online, so I can't remember. I would love to give credit to who said it on Twitter. But somebody said, do not discount the amount of people. Look at all the sales that Horizon has. So not only are you going to get the people that like that style of game, but you're also going to get people, like you said, the people that are going to come from Destiny to go to Marathon. You're going to get the Horizon lover, the follower, the true fan to jump over and give that a shot. Maybe buy a few things. Maybe stick around. I don't know. Yeah. Shout out to Ocelot. He says, my problem with the game is the bad characters. I didn't see a problem with the characters either. I don't know. I think it maybe means the art design.
And the first person shooter.
You had a couple of characters actually from the Horizon universe, and the rest of them were new. What was the problem with the characters?
Yeah, I didn't see a problem there, Ocelot.
I think a lot of us are making these like we have our mind kind of already set on. I don't like this game. It's not for me. So now I'm gonna like
find any reason.
Yeah, you're gonna find any reason, and that's easy to do with, let's say, because we've been hearing it for years. Oh, I'm tired of Horizon. It's a boring game. It's whatever. But they fucking keep selling like out the wazoo. I mean, they sell like God of War numbers and all that. You know, it's one of the biggest Sony IP, right? And so we just saw what happened with Ghost of Yotei, the controversy and stuff like that. Oh, I don't want this. I don't want that. And then it fucking outsells the previous game. So it's, again, there's a lot of speaking, but you know, will the gamer, you know, go in the opposite direction? I think when this game drops, I think just because of the IP it is, just because it's a Sony game and it's on PC and it's a live service, I think there's going to be a lot of people to try the game. I think it has a big potential to do good and potentially be great. With graphics aside, because I know people are, again, there's a lot of people disappointed because it's not Horizon 3. Right. And it's fine. We're getting that. But come on, like these guys can't make multiple games. Like, that's what I say. Gaming is a selfish hobby, and I get it for selfish reason. If it's not your game, it's not your game. But to already nitpick and find stuff, just the little stuff before you even had a chance to even see much of it, it's like, come on. And I'm crazy. You know, and these guys haven't failed so far, right? They haven't failed with the Horizon franchise so far. So you know,
the thing is,
let's see.
And it's funny because listen, I actually truly respect everybody's opinion on it, whether it's in the chat or on X. If someone says this is trash, that's not my game. That's fine. That's totally fine. The part that gets me all the time is when the media is out there hunting these things, right? And then the ones that say, right? Like I saw a couple people, and I don't mean to segue to it because I do want to talk a little bit more about Marathon. And guys, if you want to continue to talk about Horizon Hunters, we will. But like, you know, people were really hard. And I'm not talking about the ones that were going with the campaign and the boycott. I'm not even talking about that. But Ghost of Yotei, there was a lot of people that are like, I watched a lot of reviews of people that did play it in mainstream media, right? In the gaming media. And they were like, you know, listen, you know, it's Tsushima all over again. It's you know, if you like that, you like this. Not sure that Sucker Punch really took that extended run, took it to the next level. Wow. You know, remember all that? And now because the CFO, pardon me, comes out and says that the game did better than the first one, and the franchise is alive, well, and kicking ass. Now all of a sudden the media changed the whole narrative. Literally within 15 minutes, new articles come out. Everything. This Yotei, the future of Sucker Punch. You know, and I'm like, what?
Mooch, can I?
Go ahead, man.
I told you so. Because I remember I put out a tweet when they announced the 3.3 million.
Yes.
And then we had the chart data, had the GSD, we had the PS3. It was the third best-selling game of the entire year. It outsold Call of Duty. It was the 10th best-selling game of the entire year on all platforms. And I remember saying in my tweet that was covering the sales data that it's actually likely already overtook Tsushima. And I remember everyone was, the Grums crowd. They're blasting me. You don't know what you're talking about. Is selling far. And now for Sony to come out and just stop doubting me, you fucking numbnuts.
I mean, if you think about it too, it's like Ghost of Tsushima had way more advantage than Yotei has. I mean, Tsushima came out at the end of the PS4 generation when it had all these consoles sold.
That's
where
right.
Had the COVID bump as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, then it didn't have all the negative press that Yotei had either. You know?
It actually did even what Assassin's Creed Shadows didn't, because Assassin's Creed Shadows was the second fastest selling Assassin's Creed game out of 14 mainline titles.
Wow.
But they actually, Ubisoft said the reason they never expected it to outsell Valhalla was because Valhalla had an install base bump and it had the COVID bump. So they said people were indoors and people, obviously there was a lot more buying of titles and stuff because you had free time at home. Despite Ghost of Yotei being against that, it still managed to sell better. And here's the thing: it's not just because I found a lot of the haters. What they say is, "Oh, you can't trust critics," right? But here's the thing: Ghost of Yotei on PSN has a better user review average. People who actually bought and played the game. This isn't Metacritic where you can review bomb without touching it. You actually have to have bought and played it to review the game. It has a higher average than Ghost of Yotei, pretty much by the exact same margin that the critics preferred it as well. So it's literally confluence. Both critics and users on the whole prefer it to Tsushima, and so do I. So if you are a sheep, a fragile snowflake, you're just following the mob, all I would say is erase that from your mind. Give it an honest go. Don't worry, women don't bite. Just because it's a female character, it's not the end of the world, right? And just because you can't get your jollies off of it, don't worry, there's still Pornhub. You can watch that instead, but just play it to have some good samurai-ass fun. And you know what? You may prefer it too.
You know what I do on people like that, bro? I used to react to that because I feel like it's so stupid, right? We got some of our biggest characters are females in gaming. You mustn't be new to gaming to have an issue with a female character in any game. But I stopped reacting because I started realizing, just don't play it then, bro. You know what I mean? Just, okay, if you want you want to cry about a main character because she got a breast size, bro, when it's made out of ones and zeros, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Man, you must have hated the PS1, PS2, PS3, SNES, and all these eras where we got the Laura Crofts, the Metroids, the Wet. I mean, you don't like Wet, bro? Do you even know what Wet is? Am I even talking? You know what I mean? I just can't. I find myself not being able to give a fuck about how they feel. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, just get out of my hobby, bro. Yeah, you don't. It's not for you, clearly.
Exactly. Here's the thing as well, right? I don't whenever I bring this point up, they do the thing that they're doing with Yotei, is we're la 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 la, they put their fingers in their ears, right? PlayStation themselves said, I believe that the figure was 46% of PlayStation gamers now are women, right? So just because you fucking closet incels are talking about, I'm not playing it if it's this, she's not attractive enough, why doesn't she have big boobs and look like an Instagram model in feudal Japan? Do you know what I mean? What the hell? He's going to have a
eyebrows plucked and shit.
Let me just get out my bloody mascara set in the middle of fucking feudal Japan. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And
but I'm like, why?
Female gamers are buying it in larger numbers, right? So even if those small minority of men don't, women are. That's one of the reasons Animal Crossing sold 30 million plus.
That's correct.
Nintendo said it's actually
That's correct.
The larger volume of women buying it. So they are now a force to be reckoned with, a buying force to be reckoned with. They can't be ignored anymore, dude. This
That's
isn't
right.
20,
That's right.
15%.
Well, listen,
like
not just that, Nib, but let me, and maybe it's because I enjoy being over there on Twitch, but I'll tell you right now, I would say more than 50% of Twitch streamers are women. So, I mean, you have an audience that's not only gaming, but you also have them tuning in. And that's a powerful source right there. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
But, when it comes to, too, it's funny, King and Jay, and I'll say Nib, I think maybe King and Jay and I are a little bit older than Nib. But, listen, coming from the 8-bit world, okay? You guys are like right now. I'm playing through Nioh real quick, right? Nioh 3, and we'll talk about that in a minute because this game is absolute fire. If you guys love the Nioh series, Nioh 3 is where the flowers really need to be handed to Team Ninja. But real quick before we get to that, when you're playing the game, when we grew up in the 8-bit era, it didn't matter. It's about the game mechanic you're playing. I'm trying to beat this boss. You know what I mean? Like I am so focused on the game. That's why I said that about the Horizon game. We're judging a lot of things, but we're not talking about the gameplay. Is the gameplay good? Because if the gameplay is good, that was the one thing that I said with Concord, and you can't say Concord because everyone gets mad at you. But I played a full weekend with, shout out to WoolleyGamer, Jay Bari, Persona, played with all these guys. J-Dub, you were there with us too.
Yep.
We were going through it all. And the gameplay was good. The problem they had was they brought no new modes. There was nothing to it that felt like it was something new. Like it's just going to fall into that. And if you want to, and I'm not even saying that's why it should have faltered, but I think that's probably why it did falter. What are you bringing at the time? Remember, X Defiant came out at that time. You got Call of Duty out there. You had all these other games that were very similar, having the same thing. Capture the Flag, right? Domination. This and that. Yes, did they bring a hero and a different skill set to the player? That was a little bit different. But it wasn't enough different. And that's the thing I think a lot of times, judge the game on the gameplay and if you're enjoying it. Like I said right now, I don't care in Nioh 3 if I'm a guy, I'm a girl, it doesn't matter what it is. Like when I was playing on my Nintendo, my NES back in the 80s, I was legitimately like a blob. Yeah. I was just a blob trying to beat the game. You know what I mean? I was
You had 1 pixel for an eye.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, it was a side view too, King.
Side view, always.
Always a side view. So
always.
When
Mario and Luigi looked exactly the same, just different colors.
That's right. They're two different dudes, literally, with just different pants. So I mean, so that's the thing when it comes down to it that I always kind of find really interesting. I'm like, have you tried the game? Have you played the game? Shout out to Pedro. He says, I recommend Tokyo Extreme Racer and JDM PS5. Yeah. Pedro, thank you, buddy.
Mooch, can I just
go ahead? No, please chime in.
Someone made a comment, right? Someone said, Mooch, I'm as conservative as they come, but I'm all for people making the game that they want to make. If you don't want it, just don't buy it. Speak with your wallet and shut your mouth, right? Here's the thing, right? I fully agree with that. And it's not even about whether you're conservative or liberal, right? Because even people on the liberal can be very aggressive with these things. I remember even when I was playing and really enjoying Hogwarts Legacy, I remember on X, my fucking feed was, oh, why are you supporting J.K. Rowling and they were going at me, and it's like, shut the fuck up, bro. Like I'm playing a game I'm enjoying, and you're talking about someone who didn't even have a hand in making the game, and thousands of people made this game. Or you want me to punish them because of an opinion someone had? What happened to free speech? And it's like, okay, so it's not just these right-wing people who want everything, sexualized, and they want basically Instagram models, because they haven't seen real women without makeup. So what do they know, right? And it's like, I want I want fiction to override narrative accuracy or realism or groundedness. They do want a samurai in feudal Japan who's covered in mud and shit and blood, and who, there's rapists and bandits everywhere. They actually want her to walk around like an Instagram model, like that would fit. But here's the thing: there's still games for you. I loved Stellar Blade. I like Bayonetta.
Absolutely,
They gave you the Gooner game of the year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they shat on that.
Yeah,
that's right.
About that
that's right.
No, I remember even that one. Right, they said, "Oh, it's because they removed a tiny little bit of her midriff." her bosom, like the gap between her boobs, in one outfit. Even though there was more revealing outfits, these dumb fuckers, they said it was, it was censored. And the director had to come out and say, no, it was nothing to do with censorship. It was just a design decision because we like the design of the net in between. And it's like, this is how far gone we are. Even when you've got titty asses hanging out in a bikini, you're still complaining because one outfit has a bit of black lace in between. Like, what is going on?
What? Well, remember, I forgot that guy, bro. But it was all over Twitter, and it was also that fat dude you guys mentioned earlier that complained about women. But dude was out there in the streets with a picture of her. Like, is this how a real woman's body look? Remember that shit? I forgot his fucking name.
I remember that shit.
Joe Varin, or whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah.
He was literally out there on the street asking subpar looking women, should this woman look like this, and should this body be out here? And it's like, bro, I think it's just I don't know what to call it, bro. Like I said, non-gamers that I stopped paying attention to because they're never happy because they don't want to be happy. That's the design of their way of getting attention, is not being happy.
Let me ask you,
a lot of it is on YouTube right now, to where a lot of these YouTubers live off of not being happy.
Your hobby of choice. This is your hobby of choice,
right?
And you want all of this shit to fail. You want it. I don't get it, especially in the time that we're in with the prices skyrocketing and everything else is going to shit in gaming with hardware and everything else. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I think some people just need to find a new hobby. That's what I think.
And that's
what it is.
So let me ask you guys a question, though, real quick, because this is interesting right now. Because I think when it comes down to it, you have a situation where Guerrilla Games right now is being stereotyped with Horizon. And now you have Sucker Punch being stereotyped with Ghost of Yotei and Ghost of Tsushima. Do you think Sucker Punch their next game is just going to be the third iteration of Ghost? Is it going to be something different? Because a lot of people that even like Horizon series are saying, can Guerrilla give us back? People are talking about, they're talking about Killzone. They're like, can we get back? I wanted to. Here's the thing, the rotation, right? People said the same thing with Naughty Dog when we were talking about Nathan Drake, right? Enough of Uncharted. Enough of this, right? Now we are clamoring for another Uncharted. I am anyway. Right. Maybe that's just me.
Oh yeah, we can all use another Uncharted.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying, do you think do you think that now these are successful, King? We're gonna just see Sucker Punch now you're gonna have another Ghost coming out.
By the way,
they might do a trilogy. Well, you can't even call it a trilogy.
No, it's not. I mean? Like, it's not.
It'd be either Ghost of a different thing, but I think they're gonna do something else. I think the beauty of working for Sony is that you get to pitch all kind of shit and you can try to do something different. You know what I mean? All of their mainline AAA studios have done something different. You know what I mean? Everybody from Naughty Dog to Guerrilla Games to everybody, like they've all done different shit except Sony Santa Monica. You know what I'm saying? Which basically revamped God of War to the point to where if you didn't have Kratos in there, you would have a totally different game. You wouldn't even be able to call it God of War without Kratos in it. Going from God of War 3 or God of War Ascension to 2016 God of War, you could have put, a regular Viking in there and call it Viking Wars of Death, Axe, Murder, Ice Pick, or whatever, and people would never guess that it was supposed to be a God of War. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how different God of War is. So it's like they basically made a new IP as well.
I agree. I agree.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, King, isn't like Guerrilla right now? Unless we have confirmation, Nib, you probably have confirmation. You get really into the weeds with this. Is a Horizon 3? Is there another Horizon on the way, or are they going to do a new IP? Because new IP, we say that, and I just said it to Ocelot in the chat. But let me remind you that there's a double-edged sword right there. Like every time you say let these studios make a new IP, the risk level goes beyond 100%, right? It's like, is it going to flop? Is it going to hit right?
You were talking about Uncharted.
Yes.
If this rumor is true, then I'll give him more credibility. But the guy who shares like GTA 6 like snippets with me?
Yes.
So he did say that they are working on Uncharted, but it's one of the support studios, and they're just being assisted. They're being assisted by Naughty Dog. So according to him, there is a new Uncharted being developed right now, which I'm personally happy about. I don't know how a non-Naughty Dog would carry it if it is true. Obviously, I don't know. Like I said, I've got.
I would hope it's I would hope it's a lost legacy too. I low key like that dynamic
Yeah.
of Nathan's brother, Nadine and Chloe. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think it would be, or they kind of set it up where it would be Drake's daughter.
His daughter.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely, that's something that I think that, and I was saying this last week on the show or the week before, is you got a situation where they had, and I think the relationship, it may be broken. I don't know. The news was bad when it came out, but that was so long ago now. Remember Amy Hennig, who was working there, and she was working on, I think it was Uncharted 4, and they had a problem.
She's working on a Star Wars.
Now she's on a Star Wars game, so my idea is not going to come to fruition. But even if it would, let's say that the Uncharted program or project is not happening right now, you go get an Amy Hennig and a few people that worked on this stuff, and you have them come in and you have them work on that and have that story and have that, like you say, that side story, whether it be the brother or the daughter or anything. It doesn't matter. Nadine, it doesn't matter. My point being is that's the whole thing. That have that happen while Naughty Dog still the I don't want to say primary because that belittles the Uncharted. I don't mean the primary, but you have Druckmann and his folks working diligently on Intergalactic. And if Intergalactic is hot, get ready, folks, because Intergalactic 2 will be greenlit day 2. Day 2.
Yep.
Day 2.
I think Last of Us 3 first, in my opinion.
my bad. But as far as real quick, man, my bad. But Intergalactic. I always call it Interstellar, but
yeah, right.
I think it's already green. I think it's already greenlit for three chapters for three games.
I agree.
I think because it's so big, and I think that because if you look at the trailer, it's about a group of thieves, right? And they betrayed her, and she's going after one guy right now. When there's like 5 or 6 of them, she's not even going after the main dude who her ex-lover that betrayed her. You know what I'm saying? She's going after one at a time, and so unless this game is gigantic, which I doubt it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna be big because it's Naughty Dog, but I don't think they're gonna. I think that there's 3 of them, and they already have like the setup on who she's gonna take down. I think it's gonna be like Kill Bill status. And that's just my thought on just analyzing the trailer and seeing what was really going on with the trailer. Her mom and dad, like that cartoon was about her mom and dad and shit. Like just I don't know, bro. But that's just my thought on it. My thought on that shit is that that's how it's gonna play out. You know what I'm saying? Is that she's gonna go after everybody who betrayed her. So my bad. But I think it's 3 games.
Well, look,
I do too.
I think with Sucker Punch, they could come out with a new IP, but they could also make a 3rd game. You got to realize they're coming out with wasn't it a movie or a TV show or something like that on Amazon or something. Yeah. So they're leveraging all of their IPs to make them bigger outside of games. So I don't see them doing all of that just to throw that IP away, just to throw that away. But they also had multiple teams part of their company. So one team can tackle one game and another tackle something else. So I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't mind a 3rd game, but I wouldn't mind a new IP. But I do know, and I'm telling you now, nostalgia does not work. All these dudes that says they would love a kill zone and stuff. You're just saying that. They've tried it. There's a reason why these games died in the first place, right? It's because people didn't buy them.
That's a good point, Jay.
I would love to have another Resistance, but guess what? Nobody bought the previous Resistance. So why would they do that?
Yes, Resistance, please.
And I keep trying to remind people when it comes to shooters, we don't live in the glory days of the PlayStation 2 era, or even the PlayStation. Everything now, if you come out with a shooter, it has to be a live service game. It has to reach the masses.
That's right.
The day of them just making a shooter with just a standard multiplayer, that they're not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. There's that day and age is over. How is a game like that, right? You buy, you buy the game, you play it for like 6-7 hours, you beat it, and there's a multiplayer tacked on there, and you play the multiplayer for a few days, and after that, it's done. It's a one and done. They're not willing to risk that for a shooter when the stats show them the numbers, right? The numbers show them.
Yes,
gamers want this. This is where gamers spend all their time. on these live service things like Call of Duty, like Fortnite, like Apex Legends, and on and on and on. That's where everybody's spending their time. So it's hard to convince them to risk hundreds of millions of dollars for some people on the internet that just have a bunch of wants, a bunch of wish list items that technically, when it comes out, doesn't sell, and it probably get middling reviews. It is what it is.
The thing is,
those days are over.
When it comes to think about this, and when you think about media and movies and entertainment, right? So sometimes you'll have your favorite, whatever. They'll have a 1 and a 2 in a movie, and it'll kill, right? And all of a sudden, you're like, we got to have a 3 in this trilogy, right? And then that director or that writer goes off and does something different. And whether that hits or not, that's not the topic here. And then 5-6 years later, they come back to it. My thing is, the problem is money kind of dictates this, where this doesn't hold water. But you have a situation with like Sucker Punch or like Horizon. And shout out to Eric, the producer. Eric, the producer, is listening to the show. He just wrote me a DM. He goes, Mooch, just so you know, Gorilla is working on. They are working on Horizon. I've heard a few people say that now, more and more.
Yeah, I've heard it.
So that's probably that. So I'll use Sucker Punch as the example. But why can't Sucker Punch? They've already shown that they can divert from where their comfort zone is. Go wow, make something else, right? Make something else, and then if that's decent, that's decent, and then come back, and you can always make another Ghost. So imagine Sucker Punch takes that 3-4 year window, makes a new IP, then goes back to Ghost. Then goes back to that other IP. That's what I would kind of like to see, but don't forget you are talking 3-4 years development and somewhere between probably $100 and $300 million, right? So that's not as easy as said than done. I get that. I get that. But that's the one thing I would say, because a lot of times right now, did you kind of feel like the excitement was there at the get-go when like Ghost of Yotei was announced, or when it was Horizon 2? Did you feel like that energy was still there? And do you feel it'll be there for the third Ghost and the third Horizon? That's the thing. How would the community?
Yeah.
You know the community.
Yep.
How do you think they're going to receive that third one?
I'll say it like this, bro.
I do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay. My bad.
Because I know the community, Mooch, it's hard to say, because the community says one thing, right? Look what happened with all these boycotts. Oh, I'm going to boycott this.
Oh, yeah.
Literally every game they boycott, it not
sold,
only does well,
sold
but it does
very well, extremely well. Yeah.
So it's to the point where developers hope people would boycott their game, because that's a telltale sign if your game is going to be a success.
But yeah, and I'm not even talking about the sense of boycott, though, Jay. I'm just talking about fatigue, right? So when you have a situation where you say, okay, this is the third iteration, the fourth iteration, and not just that, but King, I'll give you the mic. You were going to say something, King. But I'm talking about back to back to back, right? It is. There's no break there. There's no differential. And it's like you like to see sometimes. That's kind of why, let me be honest with you. You can go ahead and say, Mooch, I'll call your bluff, because Naughty Dog did it for a minute. But Naughty Dog, after going from Uncharted, then making 2 Last of Us, and now going into Intergalactic, and I think as much as I'm a Last of Us fanboy, like I'll tell you right now, I think Intergalactic is going to trump those games in a heartbeat. That's how much I'm excited for this. You have Neil Druckmann, who fell in love with Hollywood, right? He was going Kojima. He was going Kojima on us, and he came back to work on Intergalactic.
You're that confident that Intergalactic is going to be a goatee.
Not even
a goatee, a goat.
Yes, I guarantee. I'll put 100.
You don't think so, Nib? You don't think it's going to be?
I don't know, man. I can't see. Last of Us is like one of the finest products ever.
Yeah, but then Uncharted was before that.
That's right, but Uncharted was before that. That's right.
Crash Bandicoot was before that.
Nah, man. I think for me, Last of Us 2 and Uncharted 2, they're the best.
Last of Us 2 and Uncharted 2.
Well, you can only have one best. Which one would you choose?
Yeah, good point.
Last of Us 2.
Last of Us 2.
And listen, that's fair.
That means that they keep upgrading, bro. Can't doubt
the way every game they make wins GOTY. So it's, that's a historical.
For me,
I think you can't doubt Naughty Dog when Naughty Dog's track record is the way it is, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what I'd be tripping off.
You know what I'm afraid of?
And they're like, man, come on, they deserve the respect.
I agree with that. What I'm afraid of is I always find this is a me thing. Like, don't worry, you guys may actually prefer this, but usually I find when games get bigger, and wider, and the environments and this and that. I usually don't enjoy them as much. I prefer like a more concise and with the pacing tight, and when you're doing like constant side quests and this and that, it kind of sometimes deviates away from like the thrill of the main plot. And I'm worried that even though I'm sure I'll love Intergalactic, that it might be too big, because they did say it's like a semi-open world and all of this and that. But then again, it's Naughty Dog. Like you said, we have no reason to doubt them. And I will say, now I'm kind of talking myself out of it. The what was it? Where is it in America? The section in Last of Us 2 where it's like open world with the map and you're actually following an actual Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, Seattle.
Yeah, that segment was actually amazing, and I love the fact that you organically explore it. So actually, I'm hyped again. Don't worry, go. Let's go.
But like you said, you do have to look at the pedigree and the resume, right? So, listen, you guys I didn't use the words game of the year. I'm just saying to you that, like, I would be, if you said to me, you got to say yes or no, I would say it's definitely going to get a nomination. That's without a doubt. And depending on, what else it stacks up against. But, I mean, that is an unbelievable resume coming from that team. And that's another team. When you see some of the greats out there and you see some of the things that are out there, whether it be like, and I know I'm going sports here for you guys, because when you're a fanatic, you're a fanatic, right? Whether you watch Jordan growing up, okay, or you watch Kobe growing up, or you watch Brady win those rings, or you watch any of these people, like the dedicated Tiger Woods going out there telling you, you read the books that they say they're going out there at 5. He's going out there at 5 o'clock every single day to hit buckets of balls, right? Dedication from the time he was. Neil Druckmann kind of has that thing where he's like, I almost think he wouldn't release it if he thought it sucked. He wouldn't release it. I almost feel like that. Yep. I think he's just one of those mindsets, right? Where they work. He's just that kind of competitor.
Here's the thing. They know the type of caliber studio they are and what they mean to gaming, the gaming industry, and their pedigree and their standing in the gaming industry. They're number one next to Rockstar. Next to Sony Santa Monica, next to Insomniac, right, and on and on. There's this elite group of developers, right, that just don't miss, and they haven't been missing for such a long time. Where it's a stamp of approval before whatever project they even have. It's just done, and they're not going to just throw some shit out there. They're just not. It's not in them. It's not in them. And this is why I say what you want. And I know this might be controversial, but I am glad that they didn't become a live service studio with that The Last of Us live service game. Because that means we wouldn't be getting Intergalactic. We wouldn't be getting any more single player games. It's just that would have been it. So there's no more kind of story to tell to the stuff, and I'm kind of glad of that, if that was a choice. They say that was a choice. Either we become a live service studio and that's just what we're gonna have become, or we decide to stay and do what we do best, and that makes the single player story driven game. And I'll take that in a heartbeat, because that's why people buy console. This is why we stand in line overnight or spend all thousands of dollars to buy these consoles, for experiences that they provide, that only elite developers like them provide. We've waited 15 years for Grand Theft Auto 6, right? 225 million copies sold. Like, people are waiting for this particular game. That doesn't come every day. Those are elite things, and that's what's, those what we call, system sellers or guaranteed GOTY hits. I'll take that any day. They know what they're going to do. They don't miss. They don't fumble. They just don't miss. So I think Intergalactic is going to win Game of the Year whenever it drops. I think it's going to be the pinnacle of graphics, like every single one of their games were in each generation they ever released. That doesn't stop just because,
True.
It's it just doesn't stop.
I was going to say, just to glaze Naughty Dog a bit, that, like, we always talk about like graphics and story, right, with Naughty Dog, but for me, like, and I say, people, when I say this, like, I promise you, genuinely, the reason I love Last of Us 2, I do enjoy the story as well. I like the fact that it kind of pushes your sense of tribalism and commitment to different characters, and try and see the perspectives of other characters, and actually really delve into PTSD and all these other things. But for me, the main bread and butter for Last of Us 2 is actually the mechanics and the gameplay. And I always say this in terms of third person combat. For me, like my favorite, as in what I believe are the creme de la creme, is Metal Gear Solid 5 and Last of Us 2. Obviously, they go for very different things. Metal Gear Solid 5 is more like systems and stealth and hiding bodies and multiple different things, hiding in boxes and all the rest. But in terms of actual fluidity of combat animations, how you can animation blend from picking things up, sliding, ducking, diving, throwing bottles, dynamically in gameplay, crafting, and all the rest of it. The way it looks, the motion, I forgot what motion matching. So I think only one other game or two other games use that. I think Ubisoft uses it, and then and Naughty Dog pioneered it. It's a next level. So actual feedback, the tactility of the guns, the way the gore works, the blood, the way it explodes. Like, I remember I threw I took out these bunch of enemies. I'm sliding, ducking, diving backwards, and doing all this other crazy shit. And I chucked one of those explosive arrows at this enemy. And I remember it hit his abdomen. His leg smashed into the table, and the other one flew off. And half his body, I swear down, I've got a video of it somewhere. It launched up into the ceiling, kind of stuck to the ceiling for a few seconds, then dropped down, and all the blood was just dripping from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's that level of detail. It's not just visual, it's part of the gameplay experience, right?
Yes.
Because it makes
the immersion. That's exactly
immersion, and just the dogs and the AI and everything. It's next level. So we are going to get something state of the art also from a gameplay mechanics. And I guarantee when that comes out, no other third person shooter is going to be matching that for a while.
Well, they were showing, it was just a quick glimpse we saw, Nib. But when we saw Intergalactic, and again, I don't know if that was actual gameplay or if that was, I don't know. It's hard to tell nowadays, so I'm not going to say something.
I wouldn't doubt.
I wouldn't doubt it, Jay.
It's Naughty Dog.
But this is the first for Naughty Dog. That platforming that she
actually looked better than what they show you.
The platforming with the melee that we saw. That is. I'm sure one of you guys can say that there's a scenario in Uncharted or maybe Last of Us where that happened. But that fluidity, the way that they were doing that, and have platform and melee the way that that's a new thing I think they're trying to work too. And how smooth it looked. Again, if it was gameplay, tip your cap to them. If it's not, that's fine. I still believe they're going to do something very similar to that. So I personally think that's phenomenal. I know there's a couple of super chats here. Welcome the great Detzinger with us as well. He just joined us. Appreciate you being here, Detzinger. Babor, he said this is when we were talking before about Marathon. I told him I would read it. I apologize. And we can get back to that, Babor. He says, peeps who don't know anything judge alpha builds. The thing about that, though, Babor, is remember, it's not necessarily about judging the alpha of a game like Marathon, okay? The reason that I thought that was important to mention was that when you're going to give an audience an alpha to play, part of it is for correction purposes, right, to make the game better. But you are going to be susceptible to a lot of criticism. So that's on them. That's not on the gamer for that, I got to say. So then Babor says, he's caught up with Intergalactic. He says, if the anime is preview for gameplay, we might be in for another industry-leading gameplay like The Last of Us. Gameplay this year. That's a great point because, and that's going to kind of lead us a little bit into what we can expect for 2027. If we, in fact, are going to see Intergalactic in 27, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an in-depth look at the end of this year, possibly. If maybe they'll do a September showcase. I'm making this up. I have no idea. And we see a little bit more about Intergalactic. Glinster says, if Sony revived one of the PlayStation 2 IPs, which one would you choose? Ape Escape, Dark Cloud, The Getaway? That's if,
out of those two.
You could, Glitzer, I don't think they would do any. If it's just you're asking what we would want, I don't think they're going to do any of them, to be honest with you. I mean, they're not
Yeah, I
doing
wouldn't
things
do
like Resistance, so I don't know if they're going to bring anything else back. And you got the whole community asking for Resistance. At this point, I take a Resistance remake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and I'm kind of jumping from category to category here, but we'll kind of get into this. I told Deathsinger we'd wait for this. One of the things to come out, and I have it somewhere, I can pull it up, but I'll be vague. Deathsinger, I know you wanted to wait and talk about the Obsidian stuff. Microsoft Studios and Obsidian. This was my topic here, basically shrinking project timelines and reducing the quality of certain games after they see Avowed and Outer Worlds fail to meet expectations. Now, Deathsinger, you've been on record last week as saying, that's fine, but Obsidian also had Pentiment that was a success, and they also had Grounded 2, which was a success. A lot of people are saying Grounded 2 doesn't count because a lot of Grounded 2 was outsourced. I don't know the percentage of outsourcing that was in play there, but with Microsoft adapting and absorbing all of these teams, the whole idea behind Game Pass was to keep pumping games out, few months after few months after few months, and having 4 big games a quarter. Remember, we had Matt Booty say that. The only way they're going to do that is they have to shrink the project timelines, and sometimes when you reduce those, I shouldn't say quality in the fact that the game is not good. I would just say quality. If you're going to reduce the game, the scope of the game, everything drastically drops. So when that happens, sometimes people would say, geez, I'm used to Obsidian making these big open world games, Deathsinger. Now all of a sudden, maybe these things have to shrink for budget reasons, right? So
thing with the whole budget thing is, Fallout New Vegas took them 2 years, right?
Okay.
2 fucking years.
Yes.
But that was a different.
That was a smaller game, though, right?
No.
A different generation, though. Like when
but then, as he says in the
games
article,
now $300-400 million to make.
Right, exactly.
And take 10 years to make.
But then, as he said in the article, it's now common standard in industry for 6-7 years. They don't need to do that because it's like, and he wants to scale back on that and like reuse assets and stuff, which is the correct thing to do, because as he says, we're in development for more than 6 years, inflating the production costs and the financial expectations. So what's an easy way of cutting back costs? The amount of years you have to spend paying developers to work on a game. Bear in mind, he also said we want to keep doing our smaller projects like a Pentiment, like a Grounded, because these are successes. Now, they're not going to be these big blockbuster successes, but you don't need that to be successful because they've always done that. You don't need big blockbusters to be successful. And bear in mind, they're not like a CD Projekt Red, because as he compared the employee count, CD Projekt Red has 1,000 plus. Obsidian has 280. You don't try to be CD Projekt Red, because CD Projekt's going to do what they're going to do. And turn out quicker games, but be good games. And I completely agree with the way they course correcting, whereas like this whole long 6-year time periods is not working. Let's bring it down. And the actual article was very, very insightful. It was a really very well done interview. Obviously talking to Urquhart, who is the chief executive. And I'm expecting, as he said, in the future, you can expect bigger games and you can expect smaller games, which is what I expect from an Obsidian, because that's their MO. Like, they've made South Park Stick of Truth. That's not a big game. New Vegas, they pumped it out. That is a big game, but they reused the assets from Fallout 3, right? So it only took 2 years. You're like, okay, cool. Everything's there. Let's just put our own polish on it. Pillars of Eternity took a little bit longer, 3 to 4 years, but that was crowdfunded, so that's understandable. You have to rely on the people to give you the money. So it's like, let them do what they do. Scale back. Don't try to do these 6-year games, because that's not Obsidian. And just make some good games in a short period of time. And that's what I want from them, and I'm glad they're course corrected.
Yeah, if they want to make money, they're going to have to make games for PlayStation gamers, because we're the ones that spend money. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, that's what they want, that's what they're worried about. I mean, Microsoft is going to want money. Like, at the end of the day, unfortunately, they are with a company who don't give two shits about gaming and give everything about money. And they don't, they are the developers. Microsoft isn't. And I don't know, bro. I just think that their best bet, because we have Game Pass and PC dudes will wait for a Steam sale. Your best bet is to appeal to Nintendo and PlayStation gamers because those are the gamers that actually go out and spend. So
that's the thing.
I
And
think
remember,
that
there was King, just to piggyback off that. And that's thing, we've been talking about this for years, right? So it's interesting to hear now that we have a little bit of the numbers are coming in. The Western RPG, and yes, you could say Cyberpunk being, but they're not Western. They're from, I think they're from Poland, right?
They are Western. Yeah.
Oh, are they Western? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I know how far. I'm thinking more of like you're saying the
Eastern
Obsidians
Europe,
or Eastern Europe. That's fine. But like, so Cyberpunk wins that one for sure. But a lot of these classic, like the way, and I said this to you, I said, and I know maybe I don't think I was in the minority, but I really do think that Obsidian's Outer Worlds 2, just it played very, very old. It looked beautiful. The color scheme was phenomenal. Avowed was a great world that they created, but everything played very old and dated, and that. You're not going to get that new gamer to try it. They got you, right? But we talked about this earlier. We're older gamers. We've been playing for a long time. You're set in your ways. You like what you like, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
everything, Outer Worlds 2 didn't make sense because it basically did every single thing in every single way it improved on the first one. Right?
That's fair. Fair.
There is nothing you could put against the first one and say the first one did it better. And it's still
what you don't do. No, where they fucked up with just saying that it was $80.
Yeah, that was the killer for it when they came out with 80.
That's what ultimately killed all hype behind that game because now you're fucking me. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, you took it down to $60. And I'm like, bro, the previous one was what, $49 or $59? Like, don't try to AAA a AA game or quadruple A AA game. It just leaves a bad taste in gamers' mouths. And we've seen this happen with games that did it before that. Well, I don't know about pricing, but different things that, like, once you lie, like, what's the other space game? The one you can land on gas giants. What was it called?
Starfield.
No, not Starfield. The other one. You can't land on gas giants on that, but on the other one that came out before that. Damn, he lied about the multiplayer.
No Man's Sky.
And he lied about you be able to go to the same planet and see, you know what I mean? Like, he lied about the multiplayer, and that hurt that game for years.
Yeah, it did.
He stayed at it and fixed it.
Yeah.
So it's like when you try to fuck gamers, if gamers feel like they're getting fucked over, it's gonna hurt you. If you fuck them over and make them feel like they're not getting fucked over, kind of like Xbox, then people will abide and stand by it. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they don't feel like they're fucked over. Phil Spencer made you feel, not you, but Xbox gamers feel special inside because he was a guy that would come on their podcast or show up in their DMs like, hey, how you doing? How you liking Crackdown? It's my favorite game. It's mine too, Phil. Like, it's like that. He was able to mask the bullshit. And with $80, there's no masking that bullshit. Because everybody knew that was a bullshit price for the game. Don't do it just because Nintendo did it. Nintendo learned their lesson as well. They haven't seen too many $80 games since. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, bro. Like, I just think that was the main killer of that game, even for the fans of that game. They hurt themselves.
I didn't even think of that. I mean, Dutzinger agreed with you. I didn't really think that $80 announcement, because they stepped it back so quick. I didn't think that affected it.
Well, I
thought it was just
they tried to follow the wave with Nintendo, and they felt like when Nintendo announced it first,
they were like, we're $80.
And then Sony have no choice but to follow
suit. Yeah.
And then it's like, nah. Once Sony didn't do it, they were like, yeah, this game
is a wrap.
And let's face it, I'll be honest. Microsoft, they don't make $80 games. They just don't. None of their IPs are worth $80. And then on top of that, they make a bunch of mid games. They don't make anything that's gonna force anybody to go out and buy their hardware or force anybody to go out and buy their subscription service. They just don't. Yeah. I'm not saying they make bad games. They just make okay games, and that's kind of the problem.
Okay.
They have all last year. They released like 14, 15 IP, and all of them were kind of like, I'll try it out, but I'm not gonna go and spend $70 for it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how gamers treat them. This is This is how gamers treat Xbox, and the results are in the sales numbers. It's in everything else. It's just, it is what it is. Now we spent a ton of years wanting them to make an Uncharted type game. Not that we want them to make Uncharted, but make a big blockbuster AAA game that everybody clamor for. They just don't have it in them.
And then they go and get. And then they go and get.
As a matter of fact,
go ahead, Jay. My bad.
yeah. Then they go buy. Then they go buy up a bunch of people that don't do any better. They don't make like system sellers. So you know, and you can say COD, but you know,
I mean, but they ruined that. Like that's the thing. You went and bought this Golden Goose. Yeah, which was a bullshit game, right? That people didn't feel bullshitted on, and so they kept buying it, right? Even though they was buying the same shit over and over again. Microsoft went and bought them and did the biggest thing you can do when you buy a studio or publisher is get rid of the talent. You can get rid of the games. You cannot get rid of the talent. You're buying them for talent, bro. But Microsoft keeps buying developers for games, and that's why they keep
to prove your point. To prove your point, if Neil Druckmann left Naughty Dog, we would all riot, right?
Facts.
Because we know he is not just a face, but that talent that he has for creating those. If he leaves, Naughty Dog the studio is not going to be the same. And
one day it's going to happen. It's
exactly,
scary.
And one day, that's going to be scary. So they better keep paying him whatever he, whatever he's asking for. Just give it to him. And another point. Look at Battlefield, and was it Vince Zampella? Rest in peace. That was he just died, right? Rest in peace to him, right?
Yeah.
He goes with Battlefield, and actually, when he gets to Battlefield, it's the first year in history that it actually beats Call of Duty. Like, what's the chance of that? That means it's really about your talent. It's all about your talent.
Well, Microsoft's strategy to do what they did with Activision probably would have worked in their advantage if they did this 5 years ago. And the reason I say that is they've said this. We're going to buy these companies and let them do what they want to do. Activision right now is on cruise control, right? So what they Black Ops 7, and you guys know I like Call of Duty. This is like one of the worst years for me. I didn't mind Black Ops 6 at all, but like this is copy paste. It's just copy paste. Like there's nothing to it, and it's fine. That's fine. I still play it, and like Death Singer. I could sit here and say all I want about Outer Worlds 2. Guess what? Death Singer likes that. I've had people on this show, people I game with, they make fun of Call of Duty nonstop. They give me shit for it. That's fine. I still like it, but I will tell you the quality of it. This is a copy paste year, and that's the problem with that whole thing. I just think, and shout out to I can't say his name. What is it? Eroka. He goes, what are you guys talking about? And I'm like, this was in the news. This was a thing. The Microsoft Studios and Obsidian article came out. Was it Bloomberg, I think, that covered it? I don't want to say that if it wasn't. I apologize if I'm wrong. Was it Forbes or Bloomberg?
Forbes.
And they talked about it. Now, it wasn't completely negative at all. But it did mention Avowed and Outer Worlds. And we've said this on the show. It didn't do what they wanted it to do. And releasing 3 games in 1 year, also not brilliant from the same student.
He said that. Josh Scheuer said that.
Right.
Because it's like, at Obsidian, the top tier talent, so like people like to credit New Vegas and like KOTOR 2 and stuff like that with them. And it's like, Josh Scheuer was there. He was a writer on the KOTOR, right? He's a legacy at the studio. Talent undeniable. But he took a break from doing AAA gaming because he got burnt out. He was like, fuck this. And he went and did Pentiment, which was fantastic. He just took 14 dudes and said, we're making this game because I want to do it. And it was fantastic. But it's like, so the guy clearly, the talent is there at Obsidian. But it's Obsidian just will do what Obsidian does. And they've always done that.
That's her. Can I ask you a question,
though? The problem is, I don't want them to try and make a Witcher 4. An Obsidian Witcher, it's just that they're 280 people, like they're just too small for like one of these big projects. And sure, they said they want to do more outsourcing, which makes sense, right?
Right.
Because if you do outsourcing, you're limiting the impact on your internal teams. So you're giving it to someone else. And there's plenty of studios out there who are willing to do outsourcing work. In fact, there's some that are dedicated to it, right? So like support studios and whatnot.
Yeah, but that's my question for you with this. And you said, they took 14 people, they went and made Pentiment. And by the way, Pentiment, yes, scored very well. The game itself, as far as quality, top notch, right? Here's my thing. Nobody bought it. So here's my point. If I invite all you guys over for dinner and I make an exquisite dish, an absolute, you have Gordon Ramsay giving me 5 stars. A 3-star Michelin restaurant hires me. But I put that dish out for you guys and you guys don't like it at all. You don't, not because you don't like it because I made a bad dish. You don't eat that. You don't like that. That's not what you would. No one's going to like what I made. It doesn't matter. So the point is, you had something that was outstanding, but they went out there and did that. That's time, resources, money. Those 14 people, as qualified and as amazing as they are, could have been working on something else. And you go, well, they didn't want to. Well, that doesn't really, I don't know about you guys, but when you guys go to work tomorrow, can you tell your boss, listen, bud, not today. Not today. I'm going to go over there and do what I want to do. I'll do a great job. It's not what you want, but I'm going to go do something over there. By the way, it's not going to make you any money at all. It's actually going to cost you some money, but I'm going to go over there and do what I want, and I'm really good at it.
Actually, no.
So when people talk about that,
they said Pentiment made them some money because that game was made on like the same price as a
Nib, did it make them a lot of money?
Yeah, for a McDonald's value meal. Yeah. The thing is, I will say that, Singer. Look, at the end of the day, fine, it's your opinion. But this, I don't want them to make a Witcher 3, or I don't want.
Why not?
I want them to be
not?
Creative.
Why not?
It feels like you're saying your standards lower. If you look at the kind of games that have been really successful single player wise, right? From your Baldur's Gate 3, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Hogwarts Legacy, God of War, Spider-Man, etc. Those games are all really high quality. Even Horizon Forbidden West. Yeah, I know you might not like it, but obviously the people who do like action adventure games that on the side of action, they really find it compelling, right? Expedition 33. These are really high quality games. So why are we saying, no, it's okay for you to say stagnant at this lower bar that you've been stuck on?
It's not saying okay, it's just do what you do. Be creative, be Obsidian. Because Obsidian, they mastercrafted the RPGs, but it's bear in mind...
But they don't have a large install base. That's the problem.
Exactly, but
you got to reach more people. With you and a couple friends.
That's the problem. Obsidian never was the major system seller making game. They've never done it. KOTOR 2.
They're owned by Microsoft now.
Yes,
they better earn that 30% profit, or else they're gone.
But the thing
it
is,
won't be Obsidian.
The thing is, you could probably do that 30% if you're releasing games quicker. Because yes, you could be a Witcher 4, you could be a this. That's 7 years of development, easy. That's multi-millions. We are talking chunk money. So that thing better hit, because that's going to be a huge dent. If you put out a game that took 3 years and 20 million, and you put it on PlayStation and it sells a bunch of copies because it's a good game, and you make some money off it, then you're making your 30% over all these different games. Because if you just focus on one game for 7 years, you are up shit creek without a paddle if that doesn't hit. You are so fucked. Because you are putting all your eggs in one basket. And I just don't want Obsidian.
Well, that's not the studio's fault. It's not the studio's fault. It will be Microsoft's fault, because here's the thing. Not every game is going to guarantee to hit. And if you're going to close your studio down after every game, them trying something new after the first time,
listen, this is probably a bad comparison, Dessinger, but just to piggyback on what Nib was saying, take a look at Fable real quick. Okay, so now Fable's going to launch everywhere day one, right? Fable's going to be on PS5, PC, Xbox. Okay. And I understand you're going to say, well, but Mooch, Fable's got history. That's fine. I think enough time has lapsed with Fable to where there's a lot of new gamers out there that don't know, they don't know Fable, right? A lot of people in the community are going to hear oh my God, everybody knows Fable. Yeah, the community. But does everybody that's walking through Walmart or walking through their Best Buy know what Fable is? Not necessarily. Or shopping on Amazon or buying anything on CD Keys or wherever. My point being is that when you see does anybody know, by the way, off the top of their head, how many people work for Playground that have worked on Fable? Isn't that around the 300 mark as well?
I I honestly don't know because they have 2 studios because they opened a new one to make Fable.
Let's check me out because the number somewhat matters to my example. My point is, look at the scope of Fable, whether you like Fable or not. Look at the scope of Fable. Look at what Playground's doing. First of all, leaving their comfort zone with a driving simulator, not simulator, but an arcade driver, right, in Forza. Coming over here and doing this. Look at the scope. Look at the world, the density, things that are going on. Why wouldn't you want Obsidian to make that next leap? I don't think Outer Worlds did everything better than Outer Worlds 1, but for me, that's not a far cry. That's not a huge leap. Like, it wasn't a huge leap. It just wasn't.
Want Obsidian to make good RPGs.
That's
like
fine. Of course, we want them to be good. Look at Fable on screen right now. Look at that. I mean, it's on screen right now. Look at what Playground Games made with no experience in this world. You're telling me Obsidian, which I think is a gem of a studio, can't take that next leap? Like, that's the thing. And now Microsoft's budget, that's why I said it's a concern, is now Microsoft saying we want to shrink that down. Well, that's a problem, right? So
no, they said the studio wants to shrink it down. They want to internally shrink down their development costs. That's why he was like, we want to reuse assets more. We want to do
don't let them play with you, bro. They don't want to piss their bosses off, first of all, dog. So they're going to say, yeah, we want to make them smaller. It's because they got an email saying y'all better make them smaller. So that's what they want. They're not going to go on in public and say, we want to make ours bigger. But, Microsoft told us they'll lose the whole studio. That's first of all.
The thing is...
No, go ahead.
No, go on, Flash. Sorry. I want you to finish your point.
No. Yeah, no, it's just that so it's not like it's something that they want to do. They're supposed to feel like when Microsoft was buying all these companies, a lot of them were saying, we got that security now, right? We got that security because we being a developer, you better sell or that's your ass. Now they're finding out that they don't have that freedom, that they don't have security. They have less security because they're being told to spend less, but make a game with this budget. I can't express myself the way I want to. And if I don't make this money, I might end up like somebody who made Hi-Fi Rush. Right? So it's like it's all bad. Like being like Microsoft, like I said earlier, Microsoft is just not a gaming company. And they should have been out of the gaming space. Anybody who celebrated any of those purchases
Bobby Kotick told you Thresh, you remember Bobby Kotick told Satya Nadella to his face that he told him you shouldn't be in gaming. You're not a creative. You don't create things.
No.
They have it. They're just not the company.
They're piggybackers. Yeah, they're piggybackers. Yeah.
The only thing I was going to say,
they're piggybackers with a lot of money. They're piggyback whales.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, this is what it is. But my bad. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the thing, Dessing was saying you just want Obsidian to do Obsidian, right? Do what Obsidian does. But I kind of, to me, this harkens back to like the same discussions we've been having over the last few decades with, for example, like Gears franchise, Halo franchise, and a lot of IP that Xbox has. I don't think like just sitting on your laurels is necessarily enough, because we're seeing from the market itself that they're saying, look, you know what, we don't actually want more of this. We don't want Outer Worlds 2. We don't want Pentiment, even though these are actually pretty well-received games and they're pretty decent quality, high quality. But the market is saying we don't want this. So when the market said, you know what, we don't want God of War Ascension, and we don't want Resident Evil 5, and or Skyward Sword, it didn't do as well as the previous iteration. What did they do? They had to sort of refine what they were doing. They had to
innovate.
What they were
Innovate
doing.
was a better word.
Innovate, they had to do something quite different that the market did want. So this whole like, just do what you're doing, even though what you're doing is going to end in your demise. I just can't agree with that. Like, look at Tango Gamer.
It is, though, because Tango is like a one-track mind, whereas Obsidian, they make tons of different genres, right? You look over their history, they've made shooters, RPGs, third-person RPGs, CRPGs. They've made a multiplayer survival game. They've made this fucking visual novel called Pentiment. Like, Obsidian creates and they just go and do their thing, and that's what
I think you misunderstood what I was saying. Which outside of Grounded, which of those actually had commercial success?
Well, Grounded too, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Outside of Grounded,
You kind of proving his point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that you and I might not like the product that they're making. I'm saying the market is telling them and Xbox, including PlayStation gamers as well, by the way, Outer Worlds 2 is multi-platform. The market is telling them we're not interested in what you're peddling. So when that happens, the only thing you can do is completely revamp what you're putting out or die, basically, and decline and demise, and maybe more layoffs and eventually studio closure. So as much as you may want them to keep doing what Obsidian is doing, again, the market, the consumers are saying, no, we ain't interested in this, I'm afraid. You've got to do something different.
But
Yeah.
they are masters at pivoting. They are masters at pivoting, though, because it's like, oh, Obsidian's closing down. I've heard that probably about 30 times over the past 20 years. In matter of fact, Microsoft almost killed Obsidian back in the day with the Stormlands game. When they cancelled it on Obsidian, Obsidian almost closed its fucking doors, right? So not only have they fucked them over before, but like they've always been on, oh, we need to crowdfund the game. If we don't get the funding for Pillars of Eternity, that's the end of our studio. And they managed to get enough people online to crowdfund the game to do it. They have always been in dire straits at one time or another over their past like 30 years. So I can trust them to work around whatever this bullshit's going on at Xbox.
Destiny, I get what you're saying, but there's a lot of studios that have managed to survive over decades through not just crowdfunding, through investment, capital investment from Chinese, investors, from Tencent, from all. You can get pockets of money. It's a totally different thing when you're under a massive platform and publisher, right? Both Xbox and Sony have closed so many studios. So this notion that they have all this, security now, they are probably more at danger now than they have been in their lifetime.
Well, actually, with Grounded to success, they probably have a little bit of leeway.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So as long as they make more stuff like that, then maybe. But obviously, Outer Worlds 2, Avowed, and the other Pentiment, all of those were essential disappointments. So
well, let me add to this though, because there's a few things that y'all missing on what's new that they need to cover. On top of that, like first off, all Microsoft studios, including Obsidian, is going to have to make games PlayStation first. That's the biggest market that they have of buyers. And I'm not even saying that Xbox gamers don't buy. It's just that Xbox gamers, their game is going to be on Game Pass day and date, and they have Game Pass also on PC. So these companies obviously are being looked at for the units that they sell, or they wouldn't be complaining. They wouldn't be worried about nothing if they had security inside of Game Pass. So you're going to sell the majority of your units are going to be sold on PlayStation, and that's what keeps your job. You're going to be sold on Nintendo, and that's what keep your job as well. So it's like that's already new for them, right? So then now they're going to have to make it's new because Microsoft is pushing them to make this number on top of this number for all the other platforms. They're making games for every single platform. For Xbox Series S and X, basically 2 different platforms they have to develop for. Now you got Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and PC. So that's 5 that they're automatically going to have to make for, and 3 of those 5s are going to be tarnished with Game Pass. So their strategy alone is going to have to be, okay, we have to spend less money to make more money and appeal to these different type of gamers. So that's already a scary thing. And then you got to also look at how Microsoft itself moves. Buying Activision put a wrench in every single developer Microsoft had prior, because now Microsoft spent billions of dollars are now going to want to see a return on billions of dollars. And that return is going to trickle down to your development team, even though your development team only cost them, $50 million or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? So it's like you're going to have to cover the cost of buying Activision in your own studio. So they're going to ask you naturally to make more money. And you got the whole 30% thing and all that. It's more than that. It's like units, it's DLC, it's all these different things that they need to appeal to, which also equals to more work for the same pay. So it's like
I did want to touch on something. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was going to say you touched on a really, really, interesting pivot actually, which I was going to mention. Like, I do honestly think one of the reasons that Doom, the Dark Ages, Outer Worlds 2, the reason they're so much lower on their predecessors is actually because of PC Game Pass. The thing is, like, you remember early on, Xbox was saying, "Oh, Game Pass users, we actually sell more games, right?" And I even said back then that is a really misplaced thing because that's only the case now because not many people have Game Pass, right? The more and more something like a subscription service like that expands and grows, the more and more sales cannibalization there is. Obviously, if there's only 5-10 million people using Game Pass, then yeah, maybe the other 20-30 million or whatever who don't have Game Pass, they might be like, oh, okay, yeah, I do like the look of that game, I might buy it. But then when you have 20-30 million people on Game Pass and they are a huge bulk of the enthusiast core of gamers, then they are less likely to buy games because they're already subbed. And the thing we keep hearing, right, Xbox talk about the PC side of growth, right? In 2022-23, PC Game Pass was at 3.1 million, and the rest was on console. I think 86% of the based on the FTC leaks was console. And every time, every fiscal quarter or whatever, they keep touting, yeah, we're seeing PC growth, obviously, because it's from a much lower number. But that is actually a catch-22, because as PC Game Pass increases, so does the volume of PC gaming enthusiasts who will no longer actually buy the games that they previously were. And I think that is what we are seeing with these IP, because actually Outer Worlds 2, the predominant user base is actually on PC, not on console. And the same with Doom the Dark Ages. And what those two games, again, they are significantly down on their predecessor. Now, I think because the 500,000, 1 million, or 1.5 million who would have previously bought them just played them on Game Pass instead. And these studios are now going to have to contend with that, because we know from like what Christopher Dring said when there was a correction from Xbox, like they have their own ROI and everything like that, and unfortunately it does not necessarily factor in all accounts for lost sales. Like there's different variables, so these studios are going to you have to be careful, because they are having to make up for the loss of sales and revenue on PC, on Xbox, and now PC as well. And that loss of sales on PC is only going to keep growing and growing.
Thing is,
there's another piece to that too. Hold on, Dev. There's another thing to that too. My bad. I talk as much as y'all. I know. But there's another thing to that too. When you look at first party games that are on Game Pass, they have it worst. They have the worst part of it because there's no expiration date. So there's no incentive to hurry up and download these games either on Game Pass. So I'm knowing that they get paid based on the percentage of how many people bought and played and how long they played those, not bought, but downloaded on Game Pass and how long they're playing on Game Pass. That is also part of how they get paid. But if your game is in there permanently and a person isn't super hype about it, they probably would have bought it, put it in their backlog, whatever, bought it on sale, put it in their backlog, whatever. You don't even get that on Game Pass, to where they don't even download it until they're finished playing the game they actually want to play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because it's going to be there forever.
That's right.
If you're a third party game,
those long-term sales, they're not getting either. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's like it hurts. They just hurt on top of hurt.
A lot of the sales pitch, King. Remember the sales pitch that they were saying? They're like, "Oh, Game Pass helps game sales and this and that." I mean, a lot of that did not come to fruition. Maybe it did with an example that they were using right up front, but it did not with the longevity of it. It did not.
Well, here's the thing about Game Pass on PC. Now, the enthusiasts, the like hardcore PC gamer, everyone knows you stay the hell away from the Windows Store and you stay away from Epic because they're both absolute trash, right? That is. But you have the vast majority who are more casual, like the same people who are more cost focused. So like the same people who still run like a 1660 Ti, right? It's a very, very old GPU, or they still play on a 1060 or something. And, they just go away. And also some of the growth is Xbox gamers move into PC. And obviously they want to keep their Game Pass, right? So now they're subbing, and they're realizing PC Game Pass is cheaper than console Game Pass. So, so they're serving. They're serving over there. So it's like, I think the growth is more coming from that. That's the hardcore generally stay away from it because the Windows Store is absolute dog shit, and in order to access Game Pass, you need to go through that store. So I think it's coming from there. I don't think the growth is going to be major either, because most people will be like, Steam. That is where I game. Any game, anytime, anywhere will be on through or something to do with Steam.
So let me ask you, Dessing, why do you think Outer Worlds 2 and Dark Ages have significantly lower peak player numbers and estimated sales than the predecessors?
That's right.
I have no idea because it makes no sense. It's better.
So you don't think it's Game Pass? Okay, the reason I
would be on console.
The reason I take issue with that, right, is because we already have data that proves that PC Game Pass cannibalization is taking place, and I'll refer to Call of Duty. Right, we actually had the splits from Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7 of PC, console, Xbox, and PlayStation. Right, Black Ops 6 PlayStation sales were up 36%. Xbox sales were down 69% after being added to Game Pass, and PC sales were down, I think it was 20-something, 26 or 7%, right? So we already know, and remember, it's actually a much bigger decline than 27%, because PlayStation platform showed that it actually should have sold more, because there was a lot more hype for it versus the previous, I think it was Modern Warfare 3 on the previous year, so it should have been a plus. Instead, it was a negative of nearly 30%, right? Again, from the PC Game Pass cannibalization side of things. So we can see when you add something to Game Pass, immediately there is a decline in sales that doesn't exist on other platforms that don't have Game Pass. So I don't think you can say it's not to do with Game Pass when both Xbox is admitting that Game Pass does lead to sales cannibalization, and literally the data itself.
I didn't say that. I didn't say it was nothing to do with Game Pass. I said I don't know why it didn't do as well, because it's better in every single way than the first one. So even on PlayStation, the first one did what it did, right? So people are like, well, I expect better on the second go around. Well, the second go around is better in every single way, and it still did what it did on PlayStation, regardless, and there's no Game Pass over there. So it's like,
for which game?
I think I can help you. What game? Yeah, what game was that? I can tell you exactly what that is, because I know a few games. Outer Worlds 2. Oh, Outer Worlds 2
on
was
PlayStation.
That
which
price.
game on PlayStation did worse?
Outer Worlds.
No, I didn't say any. No, I didn't say any do worse. I said it will do what it will do, but the second one is better in every single way, but it's still not a success
because the first one didn't hold you in for the second. That could be it too.
That could be it, but it is better in technically speaking.
No, I agree. That's probably part of it too. But obviously, Game Pass cannibalization is going to be too, because I literally played those games. I played those games on Game Pass. Like, I would have bought them, guaranteed. If I didn't have Game Pass, I would have bought them. So even anecdotally, I am an example of that. You know, like there's no, again, like, Game Pass users are not casuals. Game Pass users are enthusiasts who have the stomach to play countless different games, you know, of different genre, styles of game and everything. So and unfortunately, it's the enthusiast core gamers who are also the most likely to buy games, different types of games of different genres. So it's a real, like, kind of, catch-22 again for Microsoft.
So I would guess though also that Game Pass games are devalued. I think that is part of it too. That it feels like a service game. It feels like a rental game. Like I guess it just loses a lot. Like if we're looking at the results, a lot of these games, High on Life, for instance, you know what I mean? Like, these games will come to Game Pass day and date, and people will call it free, right? Xbox gamers will call it free. So then it's like a free game, and then you want to go to PlayStation and charge $59, and they're like, "Fuck this free ass game." You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's the perspective of it as well, that it lowers the not quality, but the worth of a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you devaluing it. Not only does it cannibalize, but it also devalues games. I look at games differently on PS Plus than I do when I buy them. To be honest, like I'll buy a game and I'll play it. You know what I'm saying? I play up to the point. If I see something on PS Plus that came to me on PS Plus, I don't even ask for the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's on. I don't give a fuck about that game. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'll download it in my library.
King, that's my point. I've been saying this for years on the show. I said, and it's hard to put into words because when you say that, it doesn't translate. People are like, well, look, that doesn't make any sense. What, it's there so you won't play it? But shout out to Hidden Saru in the chat. He goes, Doom flopped, Avowed flopped, Outer Worlds 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, South of Midnight, Keeper. He's a good God. Like, the thing is like you said, when all of those are in there, we don't consume gaming the same way. And, you know, shout out to Nib. Nib gave me a dose of our own medicine right here on the show. You know, he goes, Mooch, tell me, this was like 3-4 months ago. Maybe it was 5 months ago now. He goes, tell me the games you're playing. I listed them all off. And he goes, I know you're playing those because I see you on PlayStation playing them. But he goes, you really should just choose one or two and focus on those. Like, I am devoting this is how I'm breaking it down. Will I play Arc Raiders? Yes. But even Nib even asked me the other night. He's like, dude, we're hopping on. You want to play High Guard? I go, no. I'm playing Nioh 3. And I'm playing Nioh 3 all the way till RE9. When RE9 comes out, that's going to get my undivided attention until we get to, I will probably put the sticks down and play a little marathon. You know, I ain't going to lie to you. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to play a little marathon. But I ain't going to lie to nobody. That's the truth. So I'm going to do that. But I have you dedicate a game. Now, say all those games are in there. Like, it's just people don't consume games like that. Not the same way we consume Netflix TV shows, right? Or HBO TV shows. It's like, hey, did you guys see the latest this? No, I didn't. Oh, you guys are going to watch it. How many seasons? 5 seasons? All right, I'll get to them when I get to them. You could be cooking while you're watching a show. You could be doing anything while you're watching a show. You could be working while you're watching a show. You cannot be working and cooking and taking care of something, helping a kid with homework while you're playing a video game. It don't work that way. Right. So the idea of 300, 400 games for $30 a month doesn't hold. And I don't understand how they didn't see that over there, especially as time was getting going. When they introduced Game Pass, before they put the day and date games in there, shout out to Crap who's in the chat. Like, we had Game Pass, 30 days, 6 months. We had codes. We used to give them away in M&C, and we used to get DMs after we gave the awards, the gifts away for the call-ins and who won. We get DMs being like, you guys got codes for any indie games, and I trade this back. They didn't even want it. Then all of a sudden, when it became day and date, then they were like, oh, this is great. It's unbelievable. And it's like, the path didn't work.
I'm proud of you, Mooch, because you're focusing on one game. Because I would love to play Nioh 3, but I can't. I would love to play Dragon.
Why not?
Because I'm currently playing Trails Beyond the Horizon.
But that's fine.
Me too.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But the thing is, I focus on one game, one RPG at a time. All I play is RPGs.
Yes.
So, bear in mind, each game is going to be at least 50 hours, 60 hours.
No, that makes sense. That's my sickness. I can't put that on you. No, that's facts. That's my issue. I need to start playing. Nigga, I'm playing like 3 I'm playing Star Ocean Remake R, Nioh 3, Trails of the Sky, and Trails of Beyond something. Part 1.
The Horizon.
Yeah, Beyond Horizon, Part 1. So I'm stupid. You know what I'm saying? But I'm used to playing like that. So it's not. But I would rather your way is better. I just don't have that. I'm a feeling gamer. You know what I mean? I feel like playing this. I'm playing Cyberpunk over again too. You know what I'm saying? Like, just fucking. I'm out of work, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in work right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm still healing. My job is calling me like, nigga, when you coming back? Like, I'm still healing, but I got all this time in the world, so I'm playing a million games right now. So I'm stuck in the house playing games.
So I'm a little behind here on the super chat. Shout out to Babor here. He says we were talking. So I apologize, Babor. I didn't see this one here about Naughty Dog. He said we were talking about the best Naughty Dog. He says PC. I don't know what he means by that, Babor. He says Kevin showed up and started talking about B tier, CDPR, Remedy, Obsidian. I don't know what he's talking about. Shout out to Babor, though. The Gaming Ledger says, I believe Microsoft is headed to a future of streamlined titles like EA or out of the industry. Crossfire is always entertaining and informative. Thank you, Ledger. Thank you, buddy. Also appreciate what you do on X, too. I follow you over there, buddy. Glassdoor Gamer says, Microsoft has never been good with software. They're still trying to figure out Windows. Also, RAM is not going to impact PS5 like PC grifters hoped. Well, we'll talk about that in the next segment, Glassdoor, because to be honest with you, I think PlayStation future-proofed themselves as, according to the latest reports, and the guys can prove me wrong, up until this holiday, maybe a little bit into 27, but eventually this could affect all parties at some point. So that be the case there. Glinzer says, RE Requiem sales, PS5, PC, Switch 2, then Xbox. Yeah, I mean, I think, Resident Evil, it always sells well on PlayStation. I think it'll also do very well, believe it or not, on Switch too.
The thing is, don't discount PC because RE.
No, you're right.
Really, really well.
Yes,
you gotta buy enough RAM. You gotta buy enough RAM to really care about PC.
We do know from RE4 and RE8 though that console is the lion's share for that game. PlayStation's
it is the lion's.
But Monster Hunter is the lion's share on PC. Funny enough.
Well, yeah, but then
because it's the only thing that can run it because of
it's just like Monster Hunter is more RPG based, which is more the PC audience. But then also, RE games always do well on Steam, but that's because they are one of the studios. They are really good at optimizing. For whatever reason, other people can't get it through their head.
As long as you need 16 gigabytes of VRAM for $8.99, but you'll still they do make good ports as long as you have the money to buy the RAM and the GPU. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, most people should have at least 16, if not 32 RAM.
Where do you PC dudes hate each other? Stop hating on your other PC brothers. There are some who sat on 8. You know what I'm saying? The majority of you sat on 8. And now you gotta buy 6 PlayStations to play a.
Sell your kidney and buy more RAM.
No, the thing is, 16 gigs has been the standard for I don't know the past 20 years.
That's not what Steam said. Steam said that we're making a Steam machine with 8 gigabytes of VRAM because 70% of our customers don't have something at this level.
Okay. So we're talking about VRAM, not RAM. Okay, right.
No, VRAM, RAM, all that.
No, all that. RAM. RAM and VRAM do two very different things.
I believe it, and they both are going to be for AI.
8 gigs VRAM is enough if you're playing on 1080p or 1440p medium settings.
So if it's enough if you want to play PS3 level resolution, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But never mind. I love you.
Never mind.
I like watching you guys. Just go ahead, bro.
The thing is, I mean, to be fair, 1440p, if you crank all the settings up, it looks better than for resolution. Just makes it look a little bit sharper. That's all it does.
I just find PC dudes are always weird because they're always in the middle. They'll talk about I'll play these games at 1080p at 60 frames per second with 8 gigabyte or whatever the fuck, right? But then they'll say, I have a 1440p screen, right? So you bought a screen for 1440p, but you're playing at 1080p, so you overspent on that. But then at the same time, you have the guys who can afford $8,000 for a PC now, who play at 4K, 240 fake frames per second, but they also have a 1440p screen, but brag about 4K. I'm like, nigga, you're looking at 1440p. To me, you guys never kind of meet. And you're bragging. Whenever they're bragging, it's either bragging about I have high frames. You know what I mean, right there.
They only hold the console accountable when it comes to that, right? These consoles are forced to push 4K, whereas their PCs they're gaming at 1080p and a lot of 1440p. But these consoles, you had to you're upscaling, you're doing this, but when their PC do the upscaling, it's okay.
Then it's okay.
I
remember them saying that. They're saying your console's got fake HDR, right?
Yeah.
And then they get on us about fake HDR.
Yeah,
and then turn around and get fake frames that they can't see physically in the first place.
Actually, to be fair, a lot of it is just people trying to do the comparison because it's I game at 4040p, right? But I put all my settings onto ultra, turn ray tracing quality on. I turn DLSS on. I'm running what better than what the consoles are running, which I should be.
Are you?
But probably not. Probably not because
probably not.
You already at 1440p. DLS all the way up, which is going to put it in performance mode, which means the internal is probably running at 600p, but it's going to upscale it. I mean, see what I'm saying? But when I mention that, it's not a big deal. But
It's
when
a
my
problem.
PS5, when my PS5, my $600
resolution.
console do that, right? Or when my $399 console do that, y'all was like, that's bad. It's like, come on, man, what are we doing here? You spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on your PC. I spent $399 for my PS5, and I mean, technically, I got the way better deal. And then my games are better, run better, look better. You know, and I don't have to turn any of the settings down. It just works out the box.
And you know what else?
And
is
I
better
get to
too?
play. And I get to play GTA 6 and Wolverine day one.
Fact, day one. And you know what else they do, bro? That they don't do for PC gamers. Console developers who make console games, they make games for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whereas PC gamers, unless it's one of those point and click RTS bullshits, like they give them bad ports of our shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they just, you know, like it just.
Well, and they have to
really
have
gotta
a 5090 just to muscle through it.
Yeah.
The bad optimization.
Although I do have to counter to that because it's like, for example, on the Pro, it's like you have the ray tracing performance mode, which is 1080p upscaled, 60 FPS with ray tracing. When that comes to PC, I'll put that at 1440p, which is higher than your 1080p.
No, it's not. No, we don't do 1080p. We do 1800p and up.
Yes.
No, you mean 1080p? What are you talking about 1080p?
It scales from 1080p.
So you play Spider-Man at 1440p, right?
Yes, native resolution.
What do I play Spider-Man at? What do I play Spider-Man at?
Whatever the internal resolution is.
No. You said 1080p though. You know what I'm saying? Like 1080p is a slap in the face. I remember people was mad back. This is like PS4 COD Ghost days. You know what I'm saying? Where PlayStation was 1080p and Xbox was 900p, and that was a big deal back then. You casually saying, "I spend thousands of dollars to play at 1080."
I said that Ghost Yotei. I go Ghost Yotei, and you know what the best thing is? You've got all this shit to look forward to, so don't start bitching now. Because when PSSR becomes DLSS,
I'm happy.
No, but the thing is, it renders at 1080p. Ghost Yotei.
What does Ghost Yotei render? Ray tracing, and then ray tracing performance mode. Okay, so ray tracing performance mode, right? In the open world game runs at 1080p. What does it run on your PC?
44p.
Well,
when it comes,
it doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't run anything.
Yeah.
Sitting in place.
I can turn off DLSS and run it.
Here's the crazy argument though, right? Like when it comes to console, you like to use the base resolution that it, you know, you don't use the endpoint, right? But when it comes to your PC, you bypass that internal resolution and you go for the output. Do you understand? Once you turn DLSS on, right? And you choose one of those settings, quality, balanced, or that is no longer, that's not native. Your resolution is going to be
that's how upscaling works. Yes,
exactly. But why is that a problem with the console, but not a problem with your
that's all PC? That's all they're asking. That's they're saying what's good for the goose, is good for the gander. That's all.
Which is now about $7,350 now with the whole RAM thing. But still,
that's all I'm saying.
That, you know,
why is that a problem with a $399 console? But it's not a problem with
I didn't say it's a problem. Actually, it's the Pro. I'm just saying, like you talk about this resolution. You talk about this resolution on PC, but look what you're getting on console. So don't talk about it because we're both suffering from success.
It's a
the thing is, I don't see the point of this comparison because you said your computer was like what, like over 2K, and the PS5 Pro.
It's not over 2K.
What did he say? Is it 1800? You said 1800 last time.
Well, close to 2000.
You said 1800 on the podcast last time, right?
I think so.
1800, yeah.
1800, yeah. So my PS5 Pro
and you bought used parts, right? Yeah, used parts.
No, I bought brand new.
I'm sorry.
Okay, for context, my PS5 Pro cost me £570. So obviously 1800 and 570 is a big difference.
That's
so
thing,
so if I go from 1080p base to 1440p, like
Eventually,
like 4 times the money.
yeah. When you get and as these consoles continue to go into next generation, we'll kind of move over to that conversation in a second. I think you're going to see a diminishing return outside of the people that go spend thousands on 5090s or 6090s the next generation. Outside of those folks, that return you're getting, I do think it'll be diminishing returns. Eventually, the consoles are going to be pretty damn decent, and they're close.
Let me tell you, Mooch, you know Forbidden West, right? They did a patch where they like fixed the performance mode. I think it's like 1440p or something. I'm telling you, usually I can actually tell the difference between the native 4K and the 1440p or less or whatever. In that fucking game, couldn't barely tell the difference. I was like, what the hell? I'm like going up to my TV real close. Same in Ghost of Yotei, the 1080p ray tracing performance mode. I don't know what black magic they're doing with that, but also that compared to the higher resolution mode, it's barely distinguishable. It's genuinely barely distinguishable. So even me, who's usually a bit... In the past, I used to choose 30 frames per second modes over 60 just for the clarity. But now it's getting to a stage where sometimes I can't even tell. That's how good some of the upscaling is. And then we're going into next gen where we'll have better than FSR 4. It's going to be a wash, man. That shit is not even...
And then PC is going to be stagnant because I don't know if they're going to continue to make next gen GPUs for them.
Hey, Nvidia is talking like they're gonna
they out
of the consumer graphics card.
They Jet Li. They go.
Yeah. So,
they was like, don't even call me. I saw Jensen Hang get called a gaming company. He damn near slapped this lady, the little small Asian lady. He almost slapped her. He was like, no, we're not a gaming company, bitch. He fixed his jacket and shit. Like it was like 80 degrees outside. He had that leather jacket on.
He's got the leather jacket on no matter what the weather is. Yes.
Company. Imagine if Sony did that. Imagine if who's in charge of PlayStation? What's his name again? Dude from Guerrilla Games.
Nishima.
Whatever.
Herman Holtz.
Herman Holtz.
It's actually
imagine if Herman Holtz
he's second.
He's second now.
Walk on into a news channel and say that we're not a gaming place. We don't call us a gaming development company. We are not a gaming development company. We are a anime company or something. People will lose their fucking shit, bro.
Yeah.
They'd lose their shit. But Nvidia, the number one GPU seller in the PC space, sit there and tell you that, yes, I understand that gaming has brought us from the ashes, right? Made us who we are. We are an AI company. We are not a gaming company. And then they have a CES, which is the PC guys E3. That's the E3 for you. And they didn't mention a single thing about you.
Yep.
It's called Consumer Electronic Show or something. And their consumers were fucking giant conglomerate corporations and not y'all. And y'all got the I don't know how good the future is for PC gaming, bro.
You know when people join Hollywood and they become a famous actor and they leave the girlfriend or boyfriend that they had from hii school and they upgrade to another famous person? That's what they've done with gamers. They're like, nah, you're old news. You're small fry. We've moved on to bigger and better fish.
The future is still up for debate when it comes to Nvidia, but it's like Intel's coming out now with their better cards, and you have AMD improving.
Man, nope, I've been watching it. Was it 8%? No, 2% better or some shit.
Yeah.
What? Who did a 2% better one? They came out. Was it Nvidia? I mean, Intel they came out with their new chip. And they come to find out it's really the old chip, but one part of it is 2% better. Like y'all didn't riot. You rioted over what was it? Damn that fuck! I can't think of shit today. That fucking that game that Microsoft owns now. That Devil game. They made a cell phone version of it that Blizzard makes.
Diablo.
Remember when Diablo had that cell phone game, and then y'all PC dudes was so mad that dude with the glasses with the backpack on one shoulder was like, "Is this an off-season April Fool's joke?" Like during you guys are so mad, bro. And then you guys sit there and watch them do this CES and not say shit. Like, bro, like miss me. I was paying attention. I paid attention to all this. That was hilarious. The way he got up on stage, you could tell he just finished hitting his inhaler before he said it too, bro. Like. Straight up full-on PC guy. Had bifocal glasses that he got to wear shades over because if the sun hit, it'll burn his retinas. Like, just super strong glasses. He got up on stage like a Jito. I have full respect for PC gamers when he did that. Because not even console gamers do that. Xbox dudes over there, I love you, Keanu Reeves. Like, no, not PC gamers back then. It was like, is this like he said it full voice? That had to be the most aggressive he's been in his entire life, and he looked comfortable.
To be fair, they do that now because if you notice, like when they come out with graphics cards, see, this is how you know who's hardcore into the hardcore PC who actually upgrade their graphics cards all the time. For example, like AMD and Nvidia come up on stage and say it's 46%, and everyone sits there and it's like, yeah, that's bullshit. Let me see what is actually running, and then people like Gamer Nexus and whatnot on YouTube, they get a hold of the hardware, they run the benchmarks, they run it through its paces, look at the internals, and then they go, it's only 10% faster here, and then everyone's like, well, I ain't buying that shit. And and so people will just pick and choose which graphics card they want to buy, because you're never forced to upgrade. Like technically, right now, this graphics card, I don't have to upgrade for like another 3 or 4 years. This graphics card's gonna be good.
Like that's why they're getting, and that's exactly why they're getting out of the space, bro. It's because you guys pick and choose when you upgrade. You guys barely upgrade. I mean, 70% of y'all on Steam haven't upgraded shit. Right? Yeah, this is what's killing that you guys is the DIY PC gaming shit. And I think the gaming space would be weird without y'all. I know you guys will always exist. I just think that the DIY section of it is going to be gone. And they're trying to get you guys out of it and get you guys into closed shit.
That's the whole point of PC is you can upgrade whenever and whatever and whenever you want.
Right, but there's no money in it.
Yeah, but right now
they're supplying you. They don't fucking need to.
There's a shift going on right now. I mean, we haven't seen the effects of it. Who knows if the stories and the reports are true? But if they are going to stop production of cards or limit them to very, very few, and you want to do the DIY the way that King's talking about, now you're talking about a $2,000 card, $2,400 card going to like what, $3,500 card? And you'll be lucky to get your hands on it?
They're the cards they're going to stop because the 5090s, the 6090s are the lowest selling of all the cards. Right. The best selling cards are always the 60s, the 70s.
The 70s,
and the TIs, right? And the TIs, but they canceled the TIs, right?
No, but the
Didn't they just cancel the TIs?
The TIs come after. But then it's like...
the TI was supposed to come this year. Then people were expecting the TI to be at or the Supers or whatever.
It's the Supers and then the TI, but it's like the thing is, it was expected, but it's like whatever because the graphics cards are just good.
Because they like whatever. They like because AI was like, I'm going to make money here. Like they're making 9 times more. I think 11 or some crazy number more than PC gaming has ever done. And it's like I think they're just tired of y'all. Honestly, I think they're just tired of y'all.
I
think you're holding them back.
In the AI bubble because AMD are locked in on gaming. AMD have to be because
AMD is their cousins. AMD is going to follow them. AMD's show was just like Nvidia's show. They were all about AI.
It was all about AI.
All about AI.
Jump out to the space like that. I think,
bro. They were saying AI, like Microsoft was saying TV.
Well, yeah, everyone's saying AI.
They'll say AI, and then they'll say, "Here's some games. We love you, gamers. Mwah. We're getting Xbox games too." They're gonna pretend that it's hurting you, but it's really just adding to your library. If you want this trash, right? Regardless, we're getting paid, right? They like gaming itself got to have a structure, and I think PC just never had. Well, DIY PC never had that structure. That's why Steam machines are going to get pushed. That's why all these handhelds are getting announced. That's what got announced at CES. A lot of handhelds. They want to get you guys on stuff that they build, so that these companies like Nvidia, AMD, and whoever make chips can go and get contracts to sell in bulk instead of selling to y'all piece by piece, bit by bit. It's more security in bulk. Not to mention that China is fighting back with their whole tech side, and Nvidia's losing money. All foreign chips are losing money because China's trying to close the door and reopen them when they want to and all that. There's just so much going on in the tech space that anything that's not making them good money is going to get put out because AI is the thing that they're going to force down our throats. 100,000%.
Absolutely.
They're going to force it whether we like it.
Everyone's saying we don't like it, but guaranteed we're all getting it. That's exactly right, King.
Here's the thing. You look at it. When Nvidia stated what cards like the leaks are, that it's going to be like for example, the super refresh has been delayed or cancelled.
But they cancel. You don't even know. Like you're in limbo, right?
Yeah, we don't know.
Like Grand Theft Auto was delayed, right? But we know when it's coming out. Like y'all don't even know. Y'all in limbo. For your hearts, nigga.
There is always another thing. Like AMD hasn't said they're getting out of PC gaming, for example.
Right.
So
Nvidia is looking spooky right now.
Nvidia is, but it's like they want to focus more on AI and they want to stop producing as many.
Well, that's where the money is. That you know, they'll make 10 times as much off of one GPU, using it for AI than selling it to some gamer.
Well, yeah, of course. And everyone is focusing more on AI now, and so it's gonna be if Nvidia lose their slip and they stop making because we currently don't know what is next for Nvidia, right? We don't know what their next line of graphics.
Oh yeah, we do. We know it's going to be AI based, AI something, even the graphics cards.
Well,
AI based. I think what's coming next is a 3090 AI, bro. 3090 AI chip. I think that's what's coming next.
No, but they're already AI based. Like NVIDIA GPUs are AI based because they have all the processors and cores on there to handle DLSS, ray tracing.
They're charging you a premium for software. They shouldn't be charging you a premium for software, but they're charging you a premium for software. It shouldn't be, but they are.
They're charging you a premium, but NVIDIA could get away with it because they know
why. That's your problem.
They know that's
where your problem is. You guys made yourselves worthless to them, bro. Like PC gamers, DIY, are, as far as hardware sales is concerned, are worthless to that industry. Worthless. Like, because you guys, there's nothing behind you guys. Like, the only like I was even talking to one of you PC dudes, and he was like, "Well, what's the difference?" I was like, "Well, you guys kept saying that PlayStation is going to get a price raise because of RAM, and Nintendo's going to get a price raise because of RAM." And I'm like, no, they're not. They're under contract. Like, you're not under contract. You're a nobody. So they can raise the price. There's nobody to fight for you. There's no leverage that you have because you need them. They don't need you. Sony uses chips for more than gaming consoles. They have TVs. They have cameras. They have headphones. They have all this is an electronic hardware company, not to mention that they're on every single facet of the entertainment business. Everything from music to movies to all that stuff is needed. Need chips, them fucking cameras and shit, chips, and all music and studios chips. So it's like you got to understand that these businesses have multiple contracts, multiple contracts in and outside of AI.
But
so that's why you're not going to see it get hurt the way it is.
Bear in mind that the latest their contract, Sony's contract, is their current contract is protecting the PS5, right? The thing is, the next console is going to use DDR6. Now, guess what?
Do you know?
These people, there's only 4 companies in the world that make RAM. Guess what? They're going to go, oh, remember yesterday's price? That's not today's price. And they're going to renegotiate that because
they're not you. Yeah, they're going to renegotiate it, sure, but they're not
which is going to drive.
You don't have nothing to renegotiate. Sony has leverage because they sell how many PlayStations have we sold in 5 years? 90 million.
Leverage.
We're looking at 100 million. By the end of this year, it'll be at 100 million in 6 years, right? 100 million chips sold in 6 years, and that's just PlayStation. That's not including Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to understand that they sell per year double-digit millions. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, like you got to start thinking and understanding that that's the way. Like that's why PC gamers DIY are in such a bad state. This is why they're charging you 600% for some of the most basic things because you aren't protected. PlayStation gamers are protected by Sony because Sony sells to us and they make the box. We don't. So we don't need parts. We don't just search for parts like you do. So you guys are searching for throwaway parts at that. And they're like, fuck that. We could take these throwaway parts, sell it to these AI motherfuckers and get a lot more money from them than we would ever from you. You guys are so unprotected. So saying that PlayStation is going to be affected It's weird. It might be affected, but it definitely ain't going to be no 500%.
Yeah, it won't
probably
be
like $25.
It'll be to
You know what I'm saying?
it'll go up, but it won't be to that percentage. Yes, I agree.
No,
Ken.
it won't. No, nowhere close.
That percentage, but
we
like,
sat here and watched the 5090, right, go from $2,000 to $5,000 overnight. That was fucking crazy. They were canceling people's orders, and then when they went back to reorder, like within minutes, the shit was like $5,000. It was like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's not like nobody even attacking PC because I'm kind of worried about it because I think
I'm not worried about
as much. I am because you guys are important to yourself. Like you guys have your own. Like PC doesn't have a ecosystem like people think they do. Like because companies have ecosystem, but I think the gamers, you guys have an ecosystem with modding and all that. Y'all have that, but that's y'all doing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that's a creative part of gamers that's going to be missed. My bad.
The thing is, on your point, you were saying like we have actually seen. I'm not saying the consoles aren't going to increase in price, but you know what was said just earlier, where it won't be nearly to the extent of PC. We've seen PC prices on SSDs, on RAM, on GPUs, especially during the crypto boom, right, and the mining boom. We've seen those situations where there's been massive increases in GPU prices on the PC side, which didn't even affect the console side at all. It was because they just had a different need and use case, and the fab and everything like that is completely different. They don't need these super high-end chips with countless transistors and everything like that. It's a much more streamlined process of manufacture. And again, I'm not saying consoles not going to be affected, but I keep hearing this like, it's going to be just as bad on console. Wait and see. I kind of think it's a bit like wishful thinking on PC.
Prices will go up across everything because TVs.
You're not listening to what I'm saying, Jeff.
We're saying
I didn't say PC, prices aren't going to go up. I said they won't go up to nearly the extent as they are on PC. We're seeing on PC 3 times the price of RAM units, dude. We're seeing SSDs more than 2 times the cost. We're seeing GPUs sometimes 3 times the cost. If you did a BOM, bill of materials breakdown, and all those components went up that much on a console, that console would be double the price, if not more, maybe triple the price. Where in reality, we're seeing like maybe like a 10-15% price increase versus hundreds of percent on PC. So you gotta be like fair, be reasonable. Look at what we're actually seeing.
You have to be reasonable, but then it's also you're buying the odd bespoke part. Bear in mind, a lot of people don't upgrade for like at least 6 years, 7 years. That's why if you look at what is the most common GPU on PC, the most common GPU is a graphics card from like 10 fucking years ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why you're not needed.
No, that is why, because PC mainly does the work through not necessarily the parts, but the software. Because you look at Steam,
which you guys don't build. That's what PC DIY gamers are.
We build.
You can get that same software on a pre-built Dell computer. You know what I'm saying? Like but I'm just saying that's where they want you to go.
I mean, I've been playing PC games on my MacBook Pro lately, and I'm going to buy the new MacBook M5. Like, they run perfectly fine on my MacBook.
The thing is, though, pre-built is more expensive than DIY, though.
That would change once they start getting under contract.
Well, because
like
you can buy
contracts,
you can put shittier parts. Like you can choose to put a shittier component in there to save price, whereas there's a certain benchmark for warranty purposes and reliability purpose where these pre-builts aren't going to go there. A lot of them aren't depending on the price.
To be fair, a lot of pre-builts, by the way, use budget parts rather than bespoke parts because
most gamers do the same though.
Thing is, though, it's like my graphics card is Gigabyte. Now, Gigabyte has a great return policy, and the thing is, it's 100 cheaper than an Asus version of the exact same graphics card. Right? There's 100 difference, but I got just as good as everything else, the exact same thing. It's just the brand name is Gigabyte and it's not Asus, right? Or
You see,
MSI. MSI is typically
you probably got
always
a cheap. You probably got a chose a cheap motherboard. Yeah, you got a 5070, right? But you ended up cheaping out by buying maybe cheap RAM or
No.
cheap.
I got
No, no,
I
I'm
got RAM.
using-
No, he's
I'm
just saying an
using it as
example.
excuse.
It's an example.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just saying it as an example, right? You get a cheap motherboard or a cheaper CPU or cheap RAM or a cheap SSD or it's that's why you can always get it cheaper, but there is some type of quality control that the pre-built that they're going to want to have, because they don't want everybody just returning that shit every day. So.
Even to that point, like the SSDs and stuff in the PS5, PS4, etc. I'm sorry, the hard drive, and they're like Seagate, Western Digital, Toshiba. They're not like Yangsong or something from cheap like Shujukai, like from Shenzhen or some shit. Like
So let me
established brands.
So we've discussed this, but we've kind of skirted around one of the main topics here. I kind of want to ask you guys. I'll start with Thresh. Thresh, what about the rumors of 2027? Because we saw the leak out there. They were saying, okay, Valve, I think it was AMD, came out and said Valve is on course to deliver the early 2026 Steam machine, and then they said Xbox is on their course and everything is going on in a timely manner to release in 2027. So the one that they did not mention, and probably because of contracts and NDAs and that they can't, is they did not mention PlayStation. But there's two arguments here, and I think Nib made one last week, but let me ask you, first of all, there's two questions. Do you think PlayStation 6 comes out in 2027? And B, do you want a new console anytime soon from Sony?
From Sony. Sony already said that they were looking to push it back. This was said on November 11th of last year, and it has nothing to do with RAM. I don't know why people keep saying that, man. Nothing to do with RAM. Sony themselves came out. The CFO himself came out, or herself came out and said it. And they said it's because the PlayStation 4 is still growing, which is likely detractors from Xbox or people who just now wanted to say, fuck it, I'm gonna get a PS4, or because how mainstream PS5 made PlayStation, people want to jump in with a PS4. Whatever's happening, PS4s are still healthy, right? And PS5 is healthy. Yeah. And they seeing that while PS4 is healthy, its longevity is longer than what they wanted it to even be. That to where they're sending emails saying, hey, get a PS5. And because of that, she said that they're looking to extending the life of the PS5 simply because people are just now getting into the PS experience.
That's right.
And it's going to grow. And it looks like it's growing because they just broke records again, right? They fucking damn near 100 million already. Yeah. So it's already working. And PlayStation is growing due to how the gaming industry is and how mainstream things have become. I 100,000% know that we won't be getting a PS5, 6 in 2027. It wouldn't even make sense for Sony to do so. And no, I don't even need one. It still feels like because of COVID, COVID took off 2-3 years, 2.5 years,
easy too.
Of the actual feeling like we're in a new generation. You know what I'm saying? And we got a lot of great games. I will never be like other people and say that we haven't got anything yet. Shit, we got Ragnarok, we got Horizon, we got Gran Turismo, we got all these games in a very short time. Ratchet and Clank, fucking all this crazy
Spider-Man
shit. So we got all of this in this very short span of time.
You know, people who say that, those are people who don't really buy games. And those are the people that only play 2K and Madden and stuff like that, right?
And
those are the people that's going to wait for GTA 6, and that'll be like the only game.
That'll be the shit.
The Madden.
And then they'll play its new generation.
Jay, I'm glad you brought up GTA 6 real quick, because listen, I'm going to piggyback over what King's saying real quick. Here's the thing. I think PlayStation is expecting a massive boost in console sales because of GTA 6, right? That's a no-brainer. We've all been saying that for years. No shit, right? Yep. So wait, my point is this. However many million PS5s and PS5 Pros are sold this year, what kind of slap in the face is that to those people, whether it be 5 million, 7 million, 10 million new customers, right? That go out and buy that. Right. Tell them within one calendar year, we got a brand new machine. You are now already dated. You already dated.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think 27 holds it. Now, I don't want to say it was Nib. I thought Nib said it last week. The one thing I will say, and we know this too, they start doing their research, their development for the next console either the day the console comes out, like when PS5 came out, they were already knee-deep talking about PS6 internally, right? Because you have to do all the design, you have to get your production, you have to buy parts.
Yeah.
So and Nib, if it wasn't you, let me know. Somebody told me, I had a conversation about this last week. Do you honestly think that this is a serious question? If they're ready to go by 27 or 28, right, and they're ready to launch, they can't wait if they've bought all these parts, got everything ready. They got to launch because that is a substantial loss. So where is that happy medium between we just got the PS5 up and going and we got people buying it and GTA is going to be crazy for PS5, PS5 Pro, and then at the same time, wait a minute, we've already our R&D when we launched the PS5 in 2020, we were thinking 2027, 2028, 7-8 years, right? That's not crazy. That's a normal lifespan for a console, right? Outside of the 360 era and the PS3. But so now where's that happy medium? That's my question for the panel. Where is it? Because you can make an argument on both sides of that.
Right. Well, you got to look at it. I'll go first real quick. But what you got to look at is also the climate of the gaming space.
Yeah.
Like right now, Xbox is out. There ain't no competition on that.
That
was
true.
their main
on
competition.
The console side, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Whereas Nintendo is competition, but the market for Nintendo is different from the market PlayStation, right?
Yeah.
So they know they can relax. You know what I'm saying? They know PC has never been the competition. PC is a tool that enhances games, like or you can make it to anything. You can make it enhance pornos if you want. It's a tool, right? So it's not sitting next to PlayStations at Costco talking about buy me or buy this.
Right.
It's next to a Nintendo. It's next to an Xbox. So since Xbox is out, which was the main competition because of the target market, that's gone now. I don't think they started building parts. I don't think they started manufacturing yet. They're probably still talking to developers about shit, if you ask me. And I think that they see how it's looking and how they don't have competition. They have absolutely nothing to worry about right now. If Microsoft was doing the 360 thing and coming out with shit, they're coming out with a console and people are buying that. It's like, that's one thing. Microsoft is coming out with a PC. You know what I'm saying? They're coming out with they said that we want to make Windows the best place to play, not Xbox. They want to make Windows the best place to play. So that lets you know right there that they're not doing console stuff. They're doing PC stuff. And I believe because of that, that there ain't no urgency for them because they can go and reset whatever the fuck plans they had. If they don't have any competition, why not ride it until the wheels fall off? Yeah. Like nothing to push it. And that's a good and bad thing because I think competition is definitely necessary for gamers to get the best experiences out of gaming. Period.
Yes,
but
best experiences.
Because we're where we are now, it's they can take their time.
Honestly,
and I don't think gamers want it. So
nobody's asking for it. We're just getting the stride where the big first party new IP and stuff like that is just about to it's starting to trickle out. So yeah.
Well, I mean, right now, with the PS5 Pro as well, right? And we're going to see the true benefits of the Pro. We've been saying how great the Pro is. I got the Pro. I'm enjoying it, but I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The true test that I'm waiting to see the results is what PSSR 2, especially 2.0, is going to give us. Like, I think that's what sets that to a bar where, and we were talking about this with Destiny here last week too. Same thing, like 4K 60 full ray tracing on RE9, right? And I understand that's not probably upscale 4K, whatever. But my point being,
more than what most PCs.
That's
do,
what most. That's exactly it. And then you're going to have that performance on Marathon. You're going to have that performance coming out hopefully on GT. And again, I know a lot of people are waiting to see, but GTA 6 probably going to be. I think it'll be 60 frames, or at least an uncapped frame rate, right? And I don't know what the resolution will end up being for that.
I'm still unsure on that because that game is going to be so intense. That's going to destroy CPUs.
Yeah, it'll be 60.
I think it'll be 60.
I think it'll be 60, but they'll lock the resolution. Like that resolution is going to be like 920p or something.
It doesn't matter as long as they use the PSSR or FSR, whatever, to upscale it. We don't even care. And this is why it's crazy now in 2026. The fact that we're still talking about resolution when both consoles and PC use upscaling solutions as their main, like pretty much default.
Yeah, no, I'm
Well,
sure.
yeah, because it's mandatory because games are too
Yeah.
demanding. It's like if you try to run on PC without DLSS, right?
Yeah.
If you have a
Mhm.
5090, right, and you try to
Yep.
run a game at native 4K, full ray
Mhm.
tracing, all the
Mhm.
settings maxed out, you're playing
Yep.
at 30 FPS
Yeah.
without DLSS. That's
Yeah.
how taxing. It's like
And it
that is
doesn't.
how
And it doesn't.
taxing it
It
is.
doesn't even.
when
It doesn't
games
even
are-
look better. It doesn't even look better.
Well, I mean, a game at
Most
Ultra
games
native
look better with
4K.
DL. Yeah, but most games, you can ask Digital Foundry. They do these videos all the time, saying the DLS make the games look better, less shimmering, less X, Y, and Z,
Well,
and all kind of stuff.
that's because the DLSS has gotten really fucking good at what it does. I mean,
Yeah,
initially
so
it wasn't like that. DLSS 1 and 2 weren't like that. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough going at the start,
Yeah,
They had to
just
figure
like
it out.
FSR was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right, and
Yeah.
that's the same
Yeah.
thing. And I do think PSSR 2.0 is the game changer. And I think that's what keeps the longevity of the PS5 Pro going. So
No, I'm sure the PS5. I guarantee you, the PS6 is still going to. The first games that come out for PS6 are going to be cross-gen with the PS5. Mark it down right now. I can bet you.
yeah,
I'll put
I
You said
anything
what? You
on
said the
it.
best game. What's the problem
They're
with
gonna
them being cross-gen in the first place? Is that an issue?
No,
or-
no, I'm not saying it's going to be an issue. I'm just saying how long the PS5 is going to go on for. It's going to
the
go
whole
on.
generation.
Yeah,
The whole-
the
yeah,
whole
the whole
PS6 generation.
Yeah.
Like the same way the PS4 is doing what it's doing with the PS5 generation.
Mhm.
The PS5
or
is
the
gonna do
PS2,
that
So
with
the
I-
PS3, and
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree with
It's
that.
gonna
That's
go on for years.
Singer, I
like,
I think the PS2 outsold the PS3 for the first 4 years or some crazy shit.
yeah,
like-
like the PS5.
Yeah, that's how
will
crazy. That's
still
how
be
crazy the PS2 was.
the PS5 will still be relevant in 2030, 2031, 2032, probably. Like it's still going to be a relevant console, so they don't need to rush out
yeah,
a
but
new console.
so I agree with you. But so was your logic though, Death Singer, because it's going to be overlapped so much that they could certainly release a PS6? You're saying?
No, I'm saying that they'll release the PS6 later because they don't have to. Because
Okay, that's what.
they
Yeah,
might. They also
that's-
still have a massive contingent of people on the PS4 still.
Well,
Those
didn't
people
they?
ain't even graduated over.
And I'll go to Nib on this. Nib's probably got every report in front of him. Nib, didn't they say that they were basically going to start Nib? Right? Didn't they say they were going to start like discontinuing support for either majority of the PS4 at this point?
Yeah, I think first party wise, they've almost done it with every game now already. So,
Yeah, but you're seeing,
and even the next
but
Call of Duty, even the next Call of
next
Duty
Call of
is,
Duty is not
is next gen only.
right.
Yeah, current gen only. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
So
I think it's done now. I think basically.
I mean, it took them 6 years, probably by 27 years.
Right,
by
right.
20,
Yeah, but
27.
remember, so cross-gen usually lasts 2 years in most in previous console generations.
Yeah, too.
But this
Facts.
time we had massive stock shortages. We had COVID. We had much higher pricing. We had, literally prices going up 2, 3, 4, even 5 years into the generation. So I think this particular generation may be a bit of an outlier. I don't know necessarily where.
The people that were locked in on the PS4 for the longest time till they were forced over, they're going to be locked in on the PS5 until they're forced over. They're going to do the exact same thing. As long as
I don't
I don't think Sony is forcing anybody over now, though. It's been 6 years almost.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing is, the documentation that MLID talks about, it does say in there specifically that PlayStation do want a much faster adoption this time round than they had with the PS4 to PS5. In fact, loads of PS4 gamers, weirdly, haven't actually moved over yet. And funnily enough, just last week, PlayStation sent out emails to PS4 owners like, look, have you considered the PS5? Here's a discount code.
You're not going to convince
me. Guy. You know what I mean?
The thing is, though, PlayStation's like, we want them to move over, but they'll be like, well, is Call of Duty still releasing on it? Is NBA still releasing on it? Fuck you. That's
Not
all
next
I care
year, they're not.
Well, nowadays you can actually say is Fortnite still getting upgraded on it, like or updated on it or something?
Yeah, exactly.
They got different ones with the real crowds.
That's right.
I think it just depends on price, honestly.
No, I think it's gonna be they'll graduate over when they stop putting Call of Duty and NBA and all that on the PS4. They'll go over to the PS5, and then when they stop putting Call of Duty, NBA, and all them on the PS5, they'll move to the
GTA
PS6.
6 is what's going to do it, dude. GTA 6.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to do.
Yeah,
you need a system
everything.
GTA 6 is going to do it, but you know what the thing is? GTA 6 will do it, but then they'll stay on there. They won't have a reason to go to the 6 because does GTA work fine? Yeah, does Call of Duty fine? Sign me the fuck up. Like,
I mean, keep in mind we're talking about not. I mean, I think 60% or something of them have moved over to PS5, and it's like the remaining 40% or whatever's left. So still a majority of people have moved over, and predominantly, it's those like, the current gen and first party experiences like Spider-Man 2. Like Spider-Man 2 is the best selling game, second best selling game on PS5. Without bundled sales included. Now that's a really important thing because Spider-Man 2 was bundled and is a massive system seller, but it's the second best-selling game without those bundles even included. And imagine how many millions of bloody consoles it sold. That's not even included in that ranking. So yeah, I mean, clearly that people did buy the console for that. It literally, they bought the console for that game over 5 other Call of Duty titles and every other NBA title and every other Madden title and Hogwarts Legacy and Elden Ring and everything like that. It literally outsold all of them.
I do have to be fair. Call of Duty is kind of false because people look at like Call of Duty and the sales. That's just the game. That most of the people who play Call of Duty just play Warzone. They don't even bother with the base Call of Duty. Like Warzone is vastly more popular, and obviously Warzone's free to play, of course. And so
it is, but Call of Duty is still.
But like a lot of people don't play the base Call of Duty multiplayer. They just play Warzone. They really don't care.
No, I get that, but Call of Duty has literally been the top 1 and 2 best-selling game for the last decade.
Yeah, and it has, and
every year.
But the thing about that is the majority of Call of Duty players, though, are on Warzone, not on that. So it's still doing that well, with the vast player base being on the free-to-play Battle Royale rather than the actual main game.
Yeah, of course. That's like Fortnite and Apex and everything. Yeah. By the way, Mooch, at some point I did want to talk about Ken, if you have... if we
no, absolutely. Whenever you want to segue into that, but I did want to ask you guys what. So, no, go ahead, King.
Oh no! I was thinking about what, like who? I didn't understand what he said.
What Nip said?
Ken is like the new indie game.
It's that new indie game.
The console exclusive
the climbing game with the lady with the
I got a lot of questions about that game because I saw you playing it. And I've seen a few people playing it. To be honest with you, it's a conglomerate of baby steps, peak, and it's just I love the art. By the way, the art design looks awesome, but it looks like it's very, I don't want to use the word frustrating, but like frustrating.
You could say that. So I already have a thing with heights. I'm telling you now, I don't think I've ever played a game that's given me more anxiety. I think it's given me more anxiety than bloody horror games, right? And I'm not joking. I reckon the last 4 hours of play, 80% of the time my hands have been sweating.
Well, yeah, no, I get that.
Because the thing is, this is a seriously challenging game, I would say. Especially
Can you explain the controls to people? Like, what is it that you're able to lock onto, and how do you do that using the controller?
So the general controls are that in a clockwise fashion, it cycles through all 4 of your limbs. However, you can manually select limbs as well. And genuinely, you're essentially assessing every single bit of the mountain, every crevice, every rock that you're traversing. And you have to try and find bits that might be a good hold or a good slot for your foot or for your fingers, or sometimes you have to do acrobatics, and just like real mountain climbing, basically. You might have seen like Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible films and stuff. Like it's kind of like doing
which isn't real mountain climbing, but I get what you mean though. Like,
obviously there's a little bit of game exaggeration to allow you to
of course
achieve more crazy stuff. But while you're doing that, you have all these like sort of survival aspects. Like, for example, the more you climb, the harder the climb. You'll cut your fingers, your feet. So you'll have to patch them up and take medication and antibiotics or whatever to dull the pain. You'll have temperature changes. You'll have wind. You have hunger. You have sort of a thirst and all these other things that also diminish your stamina. If you are holding on to something that isn't, maybe it's raining, or maybe the crevice isn't deep enough, and so the game will, without even any bars and stuff, the HUD is very minimalist. Basically, there isn't one. Her hands might start trembling, and that's when that particular muscle or that particular arm is starting to have lactic acid or whatever, is starting to lose energy. So you either have to quickly find support with the other 3 limbs, or you need to shift on or whatever. There's also a kind of a checkpoint type system where it's not a checkpoint system. Basically, you have these things called, I think they're called pitons or something, where you hammer them into, or you drill them into the wall.
Yeah.
You only have a select few of them. And then you can kind of temporarily hang off it, like rest on it. And you do that to try and get some of your stamina back. Also, if you have all 4 limbs secured on a very good grip, you can also press triangle to rest a bit and get a bit more stamina that way as well. So there's all these kind of macro survival, gameplay
like
mechanics.
Micromanaging your
micromanaging while you're climbing, and it's the most insane and most challenging climbing. Obviously imagine it's like bigger than Everest, right? And you're climbing that in real time. But it's cool because it's not just like a boring old mountain. There's lore behind it. There's civilizations. There's ancient structures. Like the bit I've just climbed recently, it was a whole ancient, massive, almost like a kingdom type thing in the middle of the mountain, slotted in the side of the mountain, where it was like an ancient civilization. And we're talking like hundreds of meters. And I had to climb these different architecture and all this stuff, try and find bits that I can get up and make my way while running low on energy and supplies. And then you cook as well. So whenever you find a camping base and you've reached the next point.
So wait, is it one mountain? Or is it
it's
multiple?
One mountain, but the mountain is very layered. It has bits that are icy, bits that are green, bits that are historic. So they've tried to include different biomes.
A giant mountain with biomes, yeah.
But the thing is, the thing that's hyper challenging, and this aspect I kind of don't like it, but they do have assists that allow auto saving, and I've actually turned that on because I can't stomach losing so much progress.
Right.
But the checkpoints are actually far in between. So you'll have a save point. You could be climbing for half an hour to an hour and without a save point. And it's so treacherous because as you're losing energy, getting more and more thirsty, you're getting more and more hungry, your fingers are looking bloody as fuck, and you're just like, holy fuck, when am I actually going to get to a save point? And it's this weird thing where it's so daunting because it's now every single move that I make could actually be my last move. And the whole time you just the sheer drop thousands and meters down. You can just see draw distances and wind howling in the background.
So in essence, it is and I don't mean to make the comparison. It's not the same game. But in baby steps, you could climb for 30 minutes and you could slide and lose that whole 30 minutes, if not more. That's the same here?
Yeah, it's similar. But I think the mechanics are much stronger, the visuals, the story, the characterization, because she's sponsored and she has friends and stuff. But it really there's a story within a story, and
how long would you say the game? How long would you say the gameplay would?
Basically, the question is, why do people do things like that? Right? Why do people even climb mountains or whatever and risk their life? Right?
That's a great question.
And she has her own traumas and troubles that she's dealing with, and over the course of the game, from people she meets, you kind of realize she's dealing with stuff at home, and it's kind of not just the exhilaration of accomplishment, but it's escapism. She's escaping from things that are holding her down in life, holding her down, and so there's all sorts of it's really well written. The characters you meet along the way are really cool. It's hard as fuck, but it's just
how much is the game?
And I think I paid 20. It's on sale on PSN. I think it was £20, and then I got a 20% off discount with. I bought a top up first, so it was.
I think I saw it. Yeah, I think it was like 24.
I would 1,000% recommend it, and I do think in terms of the overall experience, the visuals, the vistas, the vibe, the stress, and the tension is honestly like nothing else I've played.
Really?
Are you selling me stress? Are you trying to sell me stress?
Yeah, I was
trying to sell you stress.
That's what he's doing.
You sound like Nvidia. You sound like Nvidia. You're selling me stress.
Somebody get him a job.
No, it's weird because I was thinking basically torturing myself, right? But it's so thrilling because when you do finally accomplish something, and just the amount, literally my heart is racing, right? And I'm sweating, and I'm like, holy fuck, I can't even hold my controller right. If I just make this one step wrong, or, can I even reach that? Can I make that? Should I attempt it? Should I not? It's just so much stress. But when you do pull it off, when you get to the top, and it's an amazing view, and there's waterfall, you're just like, oh my God, I did it. I actually did it. And there's a sense of...
How's it run?
Yeah.
How's it? Because I heard it had
very well.
I heard
not very well.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard there's some issues. So sometimes there was some people on Twitch that were saying something like, I got so far and the game actually just didn't respond when I did make the grab for the rock. And then I slipped and I fell, and it was very frustrating.
I don't have... there is assist for that there's a kind of Forza Horizon style rewind system. So if you don't want to risk that level of time or whatever, just turn on the rewind system, and then if you fuck up, you can just go back as much as you need or whatever to redo your thing. There's also the autosave, which kind of does, I think it's every 5-10 minutes or something, it does an autosave, so you can go back that way as well.
Okay.
So even though it is, and there's no, as far as I know, difficulty trophies, but I do enjoy the sense of challenge and fear and trepidation that comes with it. But I do have autosave on because I actually fucked up once where it was I think almost 40 minutes of climbing, and I was like, look, I love it, and I do kind of like the fact that I lost all that progress in a weird way, but I just don't have time for that with how much work and
absolutely.
The rest
I mean, that's I hate to say it, but life gets in the way for real. So
it's amazing. I think it already is an early Game of the Year contender.
That's interesting. I will say everyone that I do know playing it is playing it. I don't know if that's my jam. And like you said, people are saying Nib is selling Stress Simulator. So
yeah.
So
I have.
Well, I want to come back to games in a second. I have a couple super chats, and I want to discuss a game with you guys as well. Shout out to what is it, Zigzagging? He goes, Mooch, you've outdone yourself. Being able to have King Thresh and J-Dub at the same time feeds my soul. So there you go, guys. Great to have you guys on the show. He completely agrees. The OA, he says, in my opinion, it's just like movies on Netflix. This is when I think we were talking about Game Pass at the time. Shout out to the OA. He says, in my opinion, it's just like movies on Netflix. Nolan can put the best movie ever, but it's just on Netflix. People will react with meh. If the same movie was theatrical release, it goes bang and still will do good on Netflix after. That's the thing. So, yeah, right? And I guess, great way to put it. I said what King was saying, and it's hard to say it. It's hard to say, well, if I go out and spend money on this game, I'm going to play it, right? Versus I have a couple of key games that maybe were on your radar. They land in a subscription service. You're like, I'll get to it when I get to it, right? And it's weird to say that, but it's the truth. It is the truth, and the numbers are there to prove it. Babor, when everybody was going back and forth on the whole PC conversation, had a popcorn and a smiley face. He was enjoying the banter, I assume. Zigzag Gaming's back. He says, Mooch, how dare you bring the PlayStation Tag Team Champions on your show? So Zigzag's a big fan. Shout out to the man himself, the tech man himself. Shout out to Craig Harris. He goes, Ghost went woke and got rich. So shout out to Craig Harris, buddy. Great to see you here, buddy.
Exactly.
We got to
go woke, make money, like Spider-Man 2 too.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 printed money. Bespoke explanation point. Shout out to Bespoke. He says, Moore's Law is dead. Just confirmed on his live stream that there is no PS6 delay. And I completely disagree with Sweet Singer. Remember, the original plan for PS5 was cutting PS4 off, but the pandemic changed that. So, again, I don't know. We'll see, Bespoke. There's a lot going on here. If there is movement in that direction and there's money already spent, I don't know if they can pause it. I think what I was saying to Death Singer when he made his case, that's why I asked him the question. I was a bit confused. I thought maybe he was going in a different direction than where King was going. Is if we're always going to constantly have this overlap, Sony might say, hey, look, we've got our development out there. We've got our dev kits out there. We're going to go ahead and launch this PS6, whether it be the end of 27, maybe they'll do something in 28. And it doesn't matter because the PS5 games, especially PS5 Pro, are going to play these games exceptionally well as well.
Right.
So that overlap may not matter as much. I didn't know if that was the route you were going, Desinger. You said no.
No,
I know you weren't. You weren't.
What I was doing was there will always be an overlap because each individual has their own financial situations to deal with, and if at that time they can't afford to buy, like when the PS6 drops, and if they're just like, well, I got my NBA and my Call of Duty releasing the same year PS6 releases, and they're like, well, I don't really have the money for that. I'll just sit tight for now. And then, like, there will always be a cross-gen overlap because not everyone has the money day one when a console drops to go get the latest console. They just don't. That's not feasible. So everyone has their own situation. So it will always be a trickle. And it's always been that way. It's always been a lot of the hardcore day one will migrate. Right? All the hardcore, everyone on the panel, day one migrate. But
I would say though,
I'm day
in
zero.
previous generations,
I'll street break it.
Yeah, in previous generations, we did have a lot more current gen only games. That's kind of how they sold you because, like from Killzone, Shadowfall, and even Knack and stuff, Infamous Second Son, Drive Club, all of those games, they were current gen only. This gen, it was a bit more mixed. Like even God of War Ragnarok and stuff, cross gen, Horizon Forbidden West cross gen. So I do think like it definitely elongated this gen. But I did have a question for you, Mooch, quickly.
Yes, bro.
You're talking about I'm trying to sell you on stress, right?
Yes.
True. But why do you buy games like Silent Hill Remake, Resident Evil Requiem, etc.? Because it's same, right? You get anxiety playing those games too.
Well,
I thought it was for the nurses. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yo, the nurses were fine, except for yeah, you already know, King. No, to answer your question, no, Nib, I'll be honest with you. Maybe it's because I grew up in a different era, right? So for me, I'm not saying a horror game can't have that jump scare, and a lot of them have a few set ones that definitely make you go, oh, right in the chair, right? But to be honest with you, I outside of maybe there was probably a good. Maybe half dozen, maybe 3 or 4 in Silent Hill F, just to use as an example, jump scares. Outside of that, I mean, I really enjoy, that. I talk about it on the show all the time. It doesn't matter if it's zombies, doesn't matter what. I enjoy horror.
But do you enjoy when you do get scared?
If they can actually do that with me, I even say it to the family when they see me jump. I'm like, dude, that was good.
So there we go.
Was good.
That's the weird thing about human nature, right? Like we go on roller coaster rides, we scare the shit out of ourselves, but there is a adrenaline junkie aspect to that. It releases certain endorphins,
but
it gives you that high.
To use your example, though, the horror games have them in spots, right? Hear me out real quick. They have them in spots.
Yeah.
And the roller coaster analogy. A roller coaster, most roller coasters are under 2 minutes. They're like a minute and, your game, the entire game is that stress. That's the difference, I would say. So jump scare.
Well, I wouldn't say every climb is that as stressful as that. But yeah, I get you. When you're running low on stuff, it can seem like that for elongated periods of time. But I would say that's what makes it different. Because it's like, the whole point is like, it's trying to immerse you in this, the feel of climbing this mountain, right? And if it didn't have that, you wouldn't feel this sense of accomplishment and struggle that she's going through, but you really feel it and earn it. Like every time I'm making progress, I feel like I've fucking climbed a real mountain. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm climbing this thing.
So with that stress comes great accomplishment. That's what you're saying.
Exactly,
so you like that what do they call it? Dopamine, right? That's what you get at the end when you reach the top. The only thing I'm saying is I like that. I don't necessarily like that for that duration.
Fine,
but by the way,
I can understand that.
But by the way, what I was going to say was, and you guys know I'm not a huge fan of it, even though I'm going to promote one. There's a couple that are outliers that are really worth your try. I wouldn't mind trying a demo of Karen, right? Like I wouldn't mind trying to see if it's something that I could tolerate. But I don't know if I would want to play, 25 hours of that. Plus, I'm going to use a Nib. Your example, it would also be, Mooch, stick to one game. Right now, I'm going to talk about it in a second. Nioh 3, right? And I highly do.
I need you to talk about that. I've got my pre-order coming to is it tomorrow? I think. Yeah,
it's tomorrow. It releases
I think tonight.
It releases at midnight
is
tonight.
Is it launch tonight?
Yep, midnight tonight.
Yeah.
So, shout out to King Thrash for the 5 gifted subs, buddy. Thank you very much. It's very kind. You didn't have to do that, King. I appreciate that.
I didn't see enough green out there. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't see enough of it out there, so we had to put. No, I appreciate it, man. That means a lot to me, man. It really does. I don't even know if I have to say this. I don't get a whole lot of review copies. I did get a review copy from Tecmo America. So shout out to them, buddy. I really appreciate that. They gave it to me a couple days ago, and I've been able to play Nioh 3. Nioh 3. If you guys played Nioh 1, Nioh 2. This one really kind of separates itself from there. Not maybe you're seeing the art design, right? Maybe you're seeing the art design. Maybe you're seeing certain things, and you're like, "This is the same thing." No, it really isn't. And the thing about it is so you're allowed to have 2 different characters basically in one that you can change on the fly. You have a samurai and you're a ninja, right? And you have 2 different set of skills trees. You also have 2 different set of weapons. Some of them overlap. Some of them do not. Some are just accustomed to the ninja. Some of them are accustomed to the samurai. The other thing is that it's open. When I say open world, please do not think Grand Theft Auto. Okay, it's not that. It is more open world, less linear. And with that exploration, someone like me and anyone who watches me stream, you guys know I love collectibles. I love going out into the world. When you take the effort to explore the world the developers gave you, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded. So when you go out there and you search and you find and you fight like these mini bosses out there, you'll get better gear, you'll get better weapons, you'll also level up a lot faster. I really, really enjoy that. And the thing is that the one thing that really bothers me too when you play a lot of Souls games or Souls-like games is when you level up, okay, whether you're doing stamina or you're doing what they call Constitution, which is health, or you're doing, I'm trying to think, luck or magic. When you make those decisions and lock them in, you're locked in. Or you have to go find a coin or put a lot of money in to reset it. Nioh 3 lets you reset on the fly. You get to reset on the fly. So now I'm not far enough to where I want to reset. I think I'm making the right decisions right now. But if I wanted to, I can. The fluidity of the game, the controls, very smooth, butter. And I do have one gripe, and I'll get to it in a second. The ninja, I do want to say again, when you're the ninja character, that's more long range, and they give you things. You have like a bunch of things that you can earn too through your skill tree, but the initial ones is like a shooting star, and you also get like a fireball you can shoot out, right? And you have quick evasion. So while you do your combos inside, when you know that what would have been your key on samurai, which the samurai is much more like 1 and 2. The ninja one will actually get you to the point where you can evade. So you can get in there, fight, hit R1, you evade back, right? It's a unique thing. Now, my one con that I have, and then I'll see if the panel's got some questions, and maybe I can elaborate more off some questions, is that like I find myself loving to be the ninja and not wanting to be the samurai. And I think if I was talking to somebody from Team Ninja or somebody that was in the business there, they would be like, well, Mooch, we made it so you can do what you want. I'm one of those people sometimes, and King, maybe you get this, like, and Jay, you might get this. I'm an older cat, so like sometimes, like, when you get a dish prepared by the chef, like you go get a steak, we go out for steaks, I'm not going to smother it in A1 sauce. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to eat the steak the way the chef made it. So my point being is that if you give me these options, I kind of feel like I'm doing something wrong if I'm not utilizing the other side of it. So what I did was, in my playthrough so far, is I have used the samurai for when I'm exploring the world, and then when I'm playing mini bosses and bosses, I'm generally the ninja, because then I can fight. You can get a couple of good hits while sometimes you have to evade. So you can evade fast, right? And then you can attack while far away. When you're the samurai, you cannot. Or at least not where I'm at right now. That's more melee up close. ninja is melee, and then you can evade and fire from long distance. Also, the ninja has the better stats on the longbow, rifle, things like that. So that's my only gripe is I feel like when they gave me these options, I'm only using the ninja most of the time because I actually enjoy that character more that I can be. So that's the thing, and I think Nioh 3 deserves its flowers, like it's getting in the ratings. Because it has that open world, it has that better, the mechanics are better. There is a story that you might even give a shit about this time, where the other ones I was just playing through and I didn't really care about the story. This one has a decent story to it. It hasn't really fully developed yet, so I don't want to, and I also don't want to ruin it. But my point being is that I think that this game, if you ever were thinking about getting into a Souls-like game and you like Nioh, I think this might be the one for you to try. And again, it's not a sales pitch. There are cons. Like I said, the con for me is
What's your preliminary score?
Right now, I think right where it sits, somewhere around an 8.5. It's in that mid 8s right now.
Okay.
Yeah, mid 8s.
Cool.
I mean, I think some people would play it, and I think if you're a true Nioh fan, I think you would be somewhere in that mid 8s. I think people who think it still has a bit of difficulty to it would put it at a high 7 or 8, and then people who are just adore Souls-like games and like the Nioh series are going to be close to that 8.8, 8.9 range. I don't know if it's a 9, but it's very good.
Yeah, I'm playing it right now.
Okay, so, King, I missed it. Where's those screenshots? Where you coming from? I missed the screenshots where you're like, anybody else playing this? Oh no, just putting it out there.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't even see. I was probably busy playing it. I wasn't even on to
What do you think so far?
Yeah, what do you think, King?
I'm at the same with Mooch. But I do use both. But I use it. I'm more of a situational thinker on it. So, like when I know I'm gonna sneak up on somebody, I'm going ninja because you take more life away from them when you get them from behind sneaking.
Yes. Behind attacks are better with ninja.
And same thing with the bow and all that and everything. So I use that for that. But I like to parry and shit too. And the samurai can do that. I don't know if the ninja can do it yet. Maybe you could upgrade it to that. You have to upgrade it for the samurai.
Yeah, well, you remember one of the powers we get, or not powers, one of the points you get towards your skill tree is deflect. And I think that's what samurai, right?
Yeah. So I've been using that, and you can block. When you block with samurai, it takes less stamina away than when you block with ninja. And
it reduces your enemy's ki.
Yes. Okay. So I use that. That's exactly how I use it. So I use it to. I've been playing Kazan, so I'm kind of used to fucking people with fucking with the enemy stamina bar and all that. So I'll samurai up, get close, and then when they do that red attack, when you got to switch to counter the red attack, I'll switch to ninja, and then I'll do quick ass attacks on it to really take down his bar, get him down to where he's stunned, and then smack on him, and then go back to samurai to go back into the defensive way.
So King
kind of break him down.
Yeah, I think the audience needs to know what King said. I didn't do a good job. You just explained it better. I don't think you guys realize how fast on the fly. If you just hold down R2. So I have it set. There's a setting too, King. I don't know if you. I'll share it with you after the show. There's a setting you can put on. If you hold R2 for what is it? Not even a second. You change from samurai to ninja on the fly, very very quick. If you tap R2. That is a like a master block. What are they? King, do you remember the name of it? Anyways,
I forgot.
When you're playing up against the yokai, they'll come down with you with like a red beam, and usually that in games means evade because you can't block. Well, in Nioh 3, you can. So, and it's kind of the ultimate parry because you are not right. So they come down on you. You tap R2 when the right time. You kind of stun them, and then you can go in for a killer combo. So this happens fast. The gameplay is fast and fluid.
Fast.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you can
traverse. And then the samurai, you can add power moves to it. Like when you build up the little circle gauge they got in the middle, and you press triangle to do the heavy attack will be altered and stronger. So when you start mixing I start mixing all that together to where I will build that up, switch to ninja, take down their stamina, switch back to samurai to put in heavy damage with that what's the name? So that's why I say I mix it up a lot. But I found sort of a strategy to start whooping ass. And that's my whoop ass strategy is with boss to break them.
Same question to you. What's your preliminary score?
I'm a Souls fan-ish. And so I give it like an 8.8. I mean, it's Rise of Ronin. It's like they took a lot from Rise of Ronin.
They did.
The map, the way how the map is, how you the more you explore Rise of Ronin, if you played it, you know how you explore it, and they'll give you different levels for certain parts of the map. Same thing here. You know what I mean? A lot of that, it took a lot of the good stuff from Rise of Ronin and put it in this, and it put it on a different level. I think it's the best Nioh, to be honest.
So would you say it's a more expanded and broader game than the previous one?
For sure. For sure.
Oh my God,
I wasn't a fan of it. I was like, I'm not going to play this, bro. I don't feel like dealing with an open world Souls again. You know? Don't feel like dealing with that. But then people kept telling me, bro, just try the demo. Check it out. I'm like, man, shut your ass up. He was like, bro, shut your ass up. Try the demo. So I tried the demo, and then I'm like, fuck, bro. I haven't even told him yet. You know what I'm saying? But he was right. I probably won't tell him. I'll just say my wife bought it, and I just said, fuck it, I want to hurt her feelings.
Do you know something about both games we're talking about?
Yeah.
Console exclusive to PlayStation.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the best console to have. You know,
I was going to say one thing I didn't mention about Ken that is actually quite a big sticking point to the design. Yeah. It's a bit like Breath of the Wild in the sense that you can literally tackle the mountain way in direction you want. You do find maps and stuff where you can, in the game, another part of the strategy is mapping out your routes. The game, you will find like books and stuff where other travelers have mapped out routes. So you might have like 7 to 10 different routes you could take, but you can actually just create your own. So every route I've taken hasn't actually been as mapped out by anyone else before me. And there is a real cool aspect to that. Like you may not, the way you're going might not be the best or ideal, but it's cool to just, I like the look of this thing and this.
So if you were to take a route, are there some routes that you would find out are too difficult and you would drop? Do you know what I mean? Like you would have to pick a different route because you went to.
You don't necessarily have to drop. You would just have to backtrack some of it to a point where it connects to another part where it can go to a different spot. There's always the way they've designed it, which I'm very impressed. Like somehow, most of like the even though this is a gigantic map, they've given it both character and gameplay. So one way or another, even if you're free-forming it, you find a path. Maybe you can get stuck sometimes, but you may just have to backtrack maybe just five minutes or something, sometimes less than that, just to find a different... So,
I'm going to sound like Nib here for a second. I do have a question for King. King, real quick, since you popped the game in before it launches, let me ask you a question. Maybe you can even check it now. But I did see that they released. We've been playing on 1. What do they call it? 1.01 revision. I think they released 1.
Yeah, there was an update.
I think 1.02 or 2.0 came out. Whatever. 1.02 I think came out today. My point being is did you notice that like when you were playing because it was prior to the launch that your trophies didn't show up?
Yeah, you know what? But I'm playing a demo though. I don't think my trophies ain't popping. You gotta you got a copy. You got a review copy. I'm playing a demo.
So here's what's messed up. Trophies are popping. I even wrote the team, I was like, hey, I got a question for you guys. I got trophies, but they're not, where they show up underneath your when you have the game, and then underneath play game, you have a bunch of things. It doesn't show up there. And then I went to my trophy list, and it doesn't even show up that I'm playing the game. Like the game is not registered on my PS5. So I wrote them, and I'm like, did you guys fuck with shit? Like,
is it intentional to hide trophies?
So part of the embargo, which I can talk about it now. The embargo is completely done by now. The only thing they said was I could not show the end of the game until after the 6th, which is in 2 hours here in New York. But I could talk about it.
So in 2 hours, people can ruin the game. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, they
basically what they're saying.
They give rules and they're giving rules and regulations. Like you can't, don't show the end of the. But one of the things that they said that was really interesting was they were like, would you please put your trophies and your public to offline and not shown. And before I could even do that, I was playing. I forgot to do it at first, and I was playing, and it was the first trophy that popped. And then I went to trophies, but it wasn't there. And I'm like, I said, did you guys shut that off? Like on someone said to me, they're like, not sure, but there's a good chance that when the day 1 patch goes through, all your trophies will show. So they're popping, but they're not showing. They're just not showing. Not showing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never seen anything like that before ever. They were like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They're like, I think when the day one goes out, it'll open it. And I'm like, I don't even know. I didn't know if you were, but you're playing the demo. I thought you went to your buddies and got the you know, you always get the, you always get the game like mad early.
I would have got it 3 days ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Because my leg, I would have got the street copy 3 days ago.
I was going to move to California just for that hookup, King.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dog. I'm telling you.
I'm not even kidding
you. Know
you. It's like New York.
A few games he had already that I couldn't get early.
I'll tell you. Yeah, talk to your buddy. You get hooked up. That's awesome, man. No, but like I say, honestly, you get a review copy and people go, "Oh, you're gonna love it." I streamed Nioh 2 on Twitch. God, what was it? Years ago. Shout out to the great Sim Vendetta, who was he was like co like hosting with me while we were going through it because he's just an amazing Souls player, and I loved it. I've always liked them. I think this one here offers more to a lot. This is going to hit a larger audience of gamers because of that open world. I think the challenge is still in the mini bosses and bosses, but I don't know. Can you tell me if you're right or wrong? But like the open world, man, I feel it's more approachable for people to get into Nioh. Whereas I didn't think that was like that in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was like I said. I was worried about a lot of things, but no, it's actually, to me, it's easier.
It is a little bit easier.
Yeah,
but
it's easier. But I think it also reminds me of the Tsushima series about how like when you go to bases and you go and take out a base, you take out a Mongol base or whatever. Like they have those in there too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they scale just like they do on that as well. So and then with the whole ninja samurai thing, it's just like Ghost of Yotei in a way as far as how you can approach it. It's like familiar. And I think once you start playing it, you will realize just how familiar it is. I mean, the first beginning, the tutorial part where you're learning stuff, it's like regular Nioh. It's like, it feels like a level. But once you hit that open world, you might feel overwhelmed. But I never got overwhelmed because it felt so familiar. Me playing Ghost of Yotei and me playing Rise of Ronin, I felt at home. And I didn't expect that because I'm expecting motherfucking demons to come out with an axe from nowhere, slapping me around. And I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm just saying that they made it to where you can kind of control whether or not you get ambushed or not. You can plan just like you can plan in Rise of Ronin and Ghost of Yotei.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
So I think it's really easy to approach.
I will say this, though. So I've talked to someone who's played a bit even more than I have. I will say the challenge of this game is there. It's later in the game, though. So I think it really eases you in. And you could tell it eases you into the game because as you start it, the tutorial, which used to be a decent length, now is a good... like the first hour is like, like they teach you everything about it. And then you can, when you get to the praying stations, you can go back and you can redo missions now. You can do these things where you go back to the dojo and learn and figure out things and combos and stuff. So they really, really give you, the one thing that is really amazing about it is they've given the player full range of this game. Full range of this game. Like you can reset your skill tree. You can reset your abilities. You can reset everything on the fly. There's no penalty for it. You can do it anytime you want. So if you get to a certain point in the game and you're like, I wish I did this with those skill points, you just press a button and put the point, you sit there for a minute and put the points back in the way you want them. But if you want to go through you want to make a magic build, you can do that. If you want to make something that's just really, really intense on the ninja side, so it's like stealth and speed, you can do that. If you want to make something where, it's intellect and luck, you can do that and go through that. There's just a lot you can do. I just really think, shout out to Erica. I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. He says, gotcha, I thought they were blocked to the public. They're not blocked to the public, but blocked out for me. So the trophies he was talking about. But yeah, I think if you want to try this out or you want to get into Souls-like games, this is the one where I think the other ones are legit a much, much, much more difficult, at least off the get-go. Yeah, and I do think Nib, like Nib was asking, I do think that this is a true, I think the 8.5, 8.6 it's sitting at is pretty damn accurate. I could see this thing when I finish it going up, but, and I'm playing, I if you follow me, that's what I'm playing through the rest of this month until we get to RE9. Yes, you will definitely see me playing some Arc Raiders, so don't give me shit for that, but it is what it is. But yeah, I think that's it's definitely worth your time if you want to get into that genre.
Mooch, I feel like I gave you a complex
You
and
did.
emotional trauma.
You did, you almost it was like you yelled
bring that
it was like
every time.
it was like you yelled at me that day. You were like, Mooch, you cannot play 4 games at once. And I was like, he's kind of right. I really can't do that. I can't anymore. Not at this age, dude. Not with the you know what I mean? We were just talking about how much time it takes and shit like that to play these games and get into them and get good at them. Like, no, I definitely cannot. You literally got to sit your ass down and play a game. So, Nib, hey, listen, that was tough love. I took it at face value, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, fair.
So shout out to Nib. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm excited to play Nioh 3. I've got to say, I don't know. I thought Ken was going to be a short game, to be honest. I was like, yeah.
I was going to ask you why you're starting that when you told me you were going to play Nioh 3. I was like, dude, you're starting Karen now? You started it like a day and a half ago.
You know what, though? Oh, no. Look at all these high-quality games. I don't...
There's a lot of games.
So,
there's so many games.
You know, and I know people didn't like back-to-back having really fun experiences. And literally, the year started, and already I feel like, damn, we are in for a treat this year. We are going to for a treat.
Honestly, and we're just getting started. It's February 5th, everybody.
It's
February 5th. I mean, you're talking
so
about this is a great time to be a gamer. And honestly, we talked about it already, so we won't rehash it again. We're already at 3.5, going on 3.5 hours. But I will say this. Like the PS5 Pro just kind of picking up, and if you have an Xbox Series X, just picking up right now.
I'm actually really nervous because I've got a baby coming, right? And it's
congratulations,
shit. You know that
buddy.
when you have it. Thank you very much. Yeah, but when you have and fucking moving houses, when you have a baby, you don't have the same time that you do, and I'm like, holy hell! Like this is the worst time to not have time. But obviously, the priority is the baby, but. I need to play the Wolverines, the Fables, the GTA 6s. So I'm going to need a man cave also. I'm going to need, I'm going to learn not have sleep and just play in the AMs.
When you're up and you have to rock the baby back and forth to fall asleep and you're not going to be able to get back to sleep yourself, you got an easy 2 hours right there. You got an easy 2 hours right there. Exactly, I got shout out to True Witty. He says he's been a member for 65 months. Shout out to True Witty. Anyone playing Monster Hunter Stories 3 or Pragmata? I will answer that in a second. Shout out to Bespoke. He says, but if you jump in on PS6 2032, all the games released up until then are still new to you. PlayStation needs to give people a reason to upgrade. PlayStation failed at moving people this gen because of cross-gen. Yeah, well, we kind of got into that, Bespoke, and that's the whole thing. PlayStation, it's not that they failed. I think it was the whole COVID, and there were not a lot of units out there, especially that first year. And then when it did, so many developing teams catered to the PS4 that people that wanted to jump to PS5 were like, why would I? And you're not talking about the hardcore gamer in that standpoint. Everyone that's listening to this show, everybody on this panel went out and bought a console the day that they wanted that console. You know what I mean? That it doesn't matter. And when they said you couldn't find a PS5, guess what? Everybody that wanted a PS5 on this panel, they went and got a PS5. I had one during the pandemic. Ain't nothing was going to stop me from getting a PS5. Fact. So, you know what I mean? So, it's not all on Sony. It was a little bit where they were handcuffed, I think, this generation. I do have a quick question for you before we leave. I'm pulling a nib right now. Going to keep the show going a half hour. What do you guys think about Pragmata? King, from the time I first saw it to now, and now the demo's out, so I gotta kind of chill with what I'm going to say because I am going to try the demo. That's not pulling away from Nioh 3. I'm going to try it this weekend. But every time I see a little bit more of it just from what I'm seeing, and I saw some gameplay today, I'm not saying the gameplay looks bad, but I'm not super excited like I was the very first time. But I'm still, how do I put it? I'm still eager to see more and to play the demo this weekend. So I haven't played the demo, so I'll reserve my opinion until next Thursday's show. But King, what's your take on Pragmata since the time it was released till this demo that's out today?
I haven't played the demo either, but from what I've seen, I'm interested in games like that. I'm interested in games that are like, what the fuck is going on status? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I like Silent Hill F. Silent Hill F was like, what the fuck's going on? And the F is what the fuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm with you.
I'm excited for it, but I don't even know if I get most games when I'm excited for a game, I don't play the demo.
Yeah, me neither.
Or either I
usually.
don't like it and I ain't gonna play the demo, or I'm excited for it and I'm not gonna play the demo.
Right.
The only way I'm playing a demo is when I'm not sure. When I'm not sure how I feel. You know what I mean? And like Nioh, like I was gonna skip it. I didn't like what I saw because open world, but then I tried it because I wasn't sure because people was telling me. So Pragmata, I'm excited for it. So I don't want to play the demo. I just want to be fresh on it. But my excitement is there for it simply because I like the mystery behind it and what the fuck.
I think that was a really good way to describe the demo world, King, because I'm actually going to be on the other side of that. I'm eagerly anticipating it in a sense to where I'm on edge about it a little bit too. So I need this demo to push me over to see
where you're going to go.
Exactly. It's going to push me in one direction or the other. I don't know the whole thing. The girl on the back and pointing and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what do we like you said, you like the what the fuck, right? So like I usually do too. Yeah. So I'm intrigued. Why do we have a girl sitting on the back of an astronaut? I need to know more shit, So I haven't played the demo. I'm going to reserve my true feelings on it till next week. But I don't know. Nib or Dessinger, either you guys try the demo. Demo's out, I think, everywhere.
I haven't yet, unfortunately. It's like it's too much to play right now.
There is a lot. There's a lot, but
I haven't, but I'm looking forward to it because that's my kind of jam.
Okay.
When they first showed off,
me too. I thought it was
announced. It was I was unsure, but the more they shown of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm down. I'm down to play Pac-Man. Let's go.
Yeah, now I'm most tempted to go play it right now after the show. Maybe I will. If I don't play Nioh 3. That being said, guys, outstanding show. I want to say thanks to everybody on the panel. Thanks to this amazing chat. Thank you guys for the super chats. It's great to see this kind of support on the channel. And I know a lot of you guys, I saw Crow here earlier. Shout out to Crap who stopped by. I saw a lot of you guys here. Chad, Corey Massey, you guys are all fantastic. Shout out also to Mary that had to leave earlier. Guys, we are over on twitch.tv. I'll be there Saturday morning again with Blaze. Shout out to Blaze 4K and Lazy Vibes. I'll be out there with them. We did Ready or Not the last time we streamed. I think we're going to do a little bit of Ark, maybe a little bit more Ready or Not. And then I'm actually thinking about, I don't know if I'm going to start from the beginning or start from where I'm at, but I'm going to play some Nioh 3, a little solo streaming. So guys, go over and follow me on twitch.tv. It's Mooch TV, M00CHTV, same as here. Please, because like I said, it's I like talking games, but I got to tell you, since almost, it was before Christmas, we've been streaming 2-3 times a week, and I got to tell you, playing games is even more fun than talking games. So go over and follow me over there. We'll have a great time this weekend. But I'll go in reverse order and say shout out to King Thrash. King, great to have you here, man. I appreciate you stopping by last week. Listen to the show. I always check out Roundtable as well. Let people know where they can find you. And listen, the same way we got this going this week, now that you said you got a little bit of time, love to have you back on in a couple of weeks, buddy, if you got time. But let them know where they can find you, King. Always, I'll reach out.
You can find me Roundtable. I usually don't put my my stuff out there. I always say support the channel that we're watching now. Sub if you haven't, member if you haven't, always support gamers who are out here loving games. But I ain't been able to do podcasting too much because there's just so much going on. As far as my life goes, I'm saying anniversaries, Christmas, holidays.
Yes.
My condition, doctor's appointments, dental appointments, all this kind of stuff that I'm trying to take care of. At the same time, trying to do games. So check out my channel, King Thrash Gaming. Hit my name up. I just left a message. You can go through there. You don't even got to subscribe. Please don't subscribe to me if you don't like what you see. I suggest watch me first and then subscribe. Don't subscribe and then watch. I hate that shit. Subscribe to me because you want to watch, not because I'm cool with Mooch. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be having something come out soon. Man. I got this documentary I'm working on with Don Matrick about Don Matrick, bro. And I think he needs a massive apology from the gaming world. I was one of those that was bad mouthing him a little bit too. But then, after the years, I kind of seen what happened. But now I'm really found out what really, really, truly happened. And I think that information should be out there more. So I'll be doing a documentary on that. So look forward to that on my channel if you want to see something about the history of gaming and what really happened with the whole Don Matrick thing. I didn't even know bruh.
Yo, wait a minute.
The whole EA thing. I didn't know about the EA shit. I didn't know about.
No.
There's just so much, bro. Like he was the boss of EA, and then the boss of Xbox is now the boss of EA, and they kind of switch spots.
Oh shit.
And then Don Matrick was about to go back to EA, like people think Diametric got man. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it, bro. It's just so much. There's so much Diametric story that is crazy.
Are we on Daydreams 4?
Yeah, it's gonna be this one. This one probably gonna be an Xbox one because it's Xbox based. But we on Daydream season 4.
Yeah, we on
I
season
got a
4.
Daydreams coming out for that too. But I got a concept for the next Daydreams, which is gonna be crazy too. Yeah.
Yo, go.
Listen,
Listen,
Daydreams be popping, bro.
listen. King always. This is not King's first time on Crossfire. This is his third or fourth time. He never listen. True OG doesn't. He's like, don't promote. Listen, go over and check the band out. Please go over to King Thrash and check out his channel because trust me, you're missing out on a lot of great content, man. Some of it is the factual, and you do the whole documentary, and then some of it with the whole, Wings of an Angel and the commercials and the shit going on. If you're not watching, you're missing out. So go over and check him out. King, thank you so much for being here tonight, dude. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me, man.
Always, man. Shout out to Nick Marcel. Nick, the Olympics start on Friday, buddy. I hope you're ready for your, I don't know if he's going to root for Italy or the U.S. Who knows? We'll find out. He says, Nib, Karen, Master Race. Nick is the other one that I keep seeing, Marcel. He's the one that keeps on playing and showing all these, pictures and everything else of Karen. Awesome to see Nick Marcel here, buddy. I appreciate it. We'll see if who he's rooting for the Olympics, buddy. It's always a toss up when Team Italia is out there. But shout out to the great Death Singer. Death Singer, thanks, buddy. I know that you also had a lot of work and traffic and things, but you made time to make it here tonight, and that means the world to me, buddy. Death Singer, let people know where they can find you. And next week, we'll do. We'll probably reach 4 hours next week at least. Death Singer is playing Pragmata as we speak. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, just check.
No. I'm not. I can't afford to, because I got to beat Trails Beyond the Horizon. So, but yeah, great show. You could find me working on Arknights. The factory must grow. If there's a piece of grass, I'll build a Walmart there and start manufacturing shit. So look out for a factory near you.
Well, Death Singer, always great to have you, buddy. We love the takes and the opinions. You gained so many more followers tonight, buddy. You make so many people happy in the chat. Shout out to Death Singer. Appreciate you being here, buddy. And then Nib, you gave me speaking of stress. You send a tweet out 30 minutes before the show. I'm not home. That's stress. Yeah, I know. That is stress from a podcast standpoint. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I rushed home and then jumped straight on the shit.
Well, I appreciate that. We all do. We all do. Nib, thank you for taking care of your digestive system and being here tonight, buddy. Yeah. Let people know where they can find you, and as always, great to have you here tonight, Nib.
Thank you. Yeah, great show. As I always say, don't follow me unless you want to read lots of theses. So if you're Mayweather out here, don't just only people who are okay with reading and looking at data and analysis and detail and context. All right. But yeah, it's just NIB95_ on X.
Awesome to have you, Nib. Thank you. And again, shout out to Bespoke. Shout out to the OA. I see you guys out there. Babor, Zigzag, Craig Harris, the Gaming Ledger. You guys are all fantastic. I appreciate all of the super chats. We'll see you guys next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be on a lot this weekend on twitch.tv. Go over there. Follow me there. We'll see you guys in both locations. Go play some games. We'll talk next week. Peace out. Good night.
Peace out.
Peace out.
All right.